Thank you so much. Let's have a word of prayer before we start.
All right. Yes, you was with neyanza nnyo mukisa gwe bampadde olunaku olwaleero kusobola okuba nga mbatwala mu ssaala yaffe olunaku olwaleero. Ayi Katonda ow'ekisa ku lwa Uganda ne bannayuganda tukwebaza Kitange omulungi olw'obukuumi bw'otutaddeko byonna gye tutambulidde mu laale zaffe Kitange, era ne tukwebaza olw'obulamu bw'otuwadde. Tukwebaza olw'olunaku lwaleero Kitange okubanga ffenna tukuŋŋaanidde wamu okulaba nga tutuusa eddoboozi lyaffe, ng'eddoboozi liri limu lyakusaba nkyukakyuka mu ggwanga lyaffe. Kubanga ekituufu Ayi Katonda tukusabye ebbanga ddene, tukwegayiridde, twogedde ebigambo bingi, tulaajanye naye nga tewaliiwo kikyuka. Tukusaba omulundi guno Kitange otukulembere era ng'otukulembeza omwana wo gwe watuwa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu nga yatulaga ekitangaala Kitange. Tukwebaza era nga twewaddeyo n'obubalirivu bwonna.
Joshua Lowell, and I will be launched our party manifesto. What we are going to be doing here is to unpack it for you. We have a panel of presenters that are just here before you. Our manifesto, as you already know, has 11 priority areas. Twina ensonga 11 ze tutadde kwesira. Era the people who are before us, each of them is going to stand before you and help us unpack it so that all of us can understand. And we're not just doing this because we ought to do it. We are doing it because our people, especially in the new Uganda, need to know what awaits them. But before I start inviting the people to present for us, I just wanted to say something small so that we can understand the reason why we are doing this. I think since independence, but most relevantly since 1986, there has not been a government which truly works for the people. And I think the problem with that is that our young people, even the old people, can no longer imagine that it is possible to live in a country that works for them. We lack, people don't have a sense of imagination. They don't believe, they don't hope. But one thing our president has been doing across the campaign trail has been asking each of us to imagine what the new Uganda would look like. A country that has talent, that is endowed with natural resources, and yet the realities of their life don't speak to that. So while you listen to the panelists here, we will just ask you to borrow some bit of hope, to imagine this Uganda we are going to have after the next election, which indeed we are going to have. What is it? What does it look like? Unfortunately, the government we've been having has failed fundamentally. And you know that because you hear because our people don't believe that it's possible for a government to work with them. You hear people say, abakulembeze ne bachuka tewali kigenda chuka. No butwa kuterondira omuntu kine kikuza kuhinduka. Government terakuteresa ntu munshaho yawo. But I want you to believe that it is possible for a government to work for you and not work against you. And I would just say this just to not waste a lot of time. I think it was President Obama in 2004 who said that citizens don't expect the government to do everything for them. Our people are hardworking, they are talented, they are paying their taxes. All they need from us is a government that can just create an environment which enables them to realize their full potential, which can utilize their taxes to work for them. And so here the manifesto we're unpacking for you is not that all your problems are going to be solved per se, or that we are going to give you everything that you want. But we can at least guarantee that our government will create an enabling environment, which means that a talented young man from Kamwatcha can rise to be the next icon on the African continent or in the world. Yes. that it is possible to leave your university and have a job that gives you dignity, not because it's the only thing you can settle for. So thank you so much. We ask you to please broaden and allow yourself to imagine what is going to happen after 2026. So this is how it's going to flow. Each priority area will have 5 minutes, and we encourage each of us to keep our questions. We shall ask the questions at the end of the general presentations. So we'll have the presentation in how they are ordered within the manifesto. What that looks like is that number one on the priority list is going to be what is presented first. So the first priority point we have in our manifesto is on freedom and constitutionalism. And it is going to be presented by our party General Secretary, Honorable Rwongoya David. Mr. General Secretary, allow me to invite you to take us through the first priority point. Let's welcome him.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, comrade leaders present today. We are here to unpack the NUP manifesto, and I'm here to talk about our priority one, which is about restoring constitutionalism, human and the rule of law. First of all, what is the problem in Uganda? The problem in Uganda today is governance. Uganda does not have any other problem except governance. All problems that we have in Uganda today can be summarized in one word: the failure of governance. Uganda ranks 1 out of 142 countries on the rule of law index. You can imagine Uganda beats just very, very few countries in the world in terms of respect for the rule of law and human rights. That is terrible. In Uganda, media rights are not respected. Journalists and media practitioners are regularly harassed. There are enforced disappearances in Uganda. Up to now, we are looking for 18 people who were abducted by the Museveni regime in the last election. Yesterday, the president delegated me to attend a briefing ceremony for one of the children of Damulira John, who had disappeared in 2020, and up to now, he has never surfaced. And as you know, our Kenyan brothers, 2 of them were picked on the campaign trail on the 1st of October. Up to now, nobody knows where they are. Sam Mugumia, who was abducted from Barara, is still missing, and many other people. What is the other problem? Due process and legal environment. Many people can tell you in Uganda that if you're poor, you're not going to get justice in the courts of law. If you go to courts of law and you don't have money, you are sure that the person who has money is going to beat you at your case, no matter how good case you have. That is why people say, Omwavu tasinga musango. Electoral integrity. That in Uganda today, many citizens out there will tell you everywhere we go, tuja kulonda naye banamulangirira, because there is no electoral integrity. People go and vote. You saw what happened in Kayunga, where the regime just took over and declared whatever they wanted. The other problem related to governance is, of course, corruption. The breakdown of constitutional order. In the 1995 Constitution, it provides that the Constitution would be durable. Unfortunately, every time the Constitution has stood in Mr. Museveni's path, he just kicks it down the road, uses the military, usurps Parliament, bribes Parliament, and takes over the functions and amends the Constitution illegally, and the Parliament, of course, and the judiciary have been weakened very, very strongly. And there's a deliberate attack on the civil society. You all recall that a few years ago, over 5,000 NGOs which were dealing with governance issues were closed down by the Museveni regime. I can go on and on and on talking about the problems, but before telling you what NUP is going to do, I wanted us to get to know the problem. Now, what is NUP promising? Number one, to restore term limits in our constitution. NUP will not only restore term limits, but it will entrench them. And any president who will attempt to remove term limits will be charged with treason. It will be a treasonable offense to try to remove the mandatory term limits from the Constitution of Uganda under the National Unity Platform. Number 2, in accordance with the Supreme Court decision, NUP is going to remove that UPDF amendment which took civilians back to military courts. Civilians will not be tried in military courts whatsoever. Number 3, like the president said on the trail, the first action he will take once elected president of Uganda is to free all political prisoners. Now, you people who are watching us are the reason why those prisoners will be in prison after the election day. Because if you vote for NUP, all political prisoners, beginning with Dr. Chiza Besigye, Machete, Eddie Mutwe, Achileo, Gaddafi, and the Karamajong, who have been taken to those prisons and are not being tried for no crime whatsoever, will be freed immediately. Meaning that vote for NUP is a vote to free all political prisoners. The media who are here today under NUP, no security forces, no police officer will interfere with the work of journalists in Uganda. Journalists will be free to do their role without fearing what will happen when they go back home. Under NUP, the president will not appoint the Electoral Commission. The powers to appoint the Electoral Commission will be taken off from the president. First of all, we are going to bring about separation of powers. Parliament will be independent, the judiciary will be independent, and therefore there will be organs. There will be a committee, a separate committee dealing with this, and the final approval coming from Parliament. So the powers to appoint the Electoral Commission, because we all know that that is one of the biggest problems we have today, where one of the candidates is the one who is appointing the Electoral Commission. That will not only go to the Electoral Commission, but also the appointment of judicial officers, including the Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice and all other judicial officers. That power will move out from the president. As you all know right now in Uganda, judges from the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, Constitutional Court, and the High Court, all of them have been appointed by one man called General Museveni. That is why many of them feel emboldened to him. That is why many of them feel indebted to him to do what is against the Constitution and what is against the judicial oath. But we believe that if the president is not the one appointing judicial officers, then judicial officers are going to do their function independently and serve the citizens of Uganda. In the new Uganda, there will be no internet shutdowns. Facebook will be restored. You will not need to be on VPN to access Facebook. UCC will no longer have powers to switch on the internet when they feel like. That one will not happen in the new Uganda. The civil society, NGOs and others will be allowed to function. We are going to have merit-based appointments. In the new Uganda, it will not depend on where you come from, what is the size of your nose, how old you come from to get a job. In the new Uganda, you will get a job based on merit. You will get a job across the board. So that is how we plan to restore constitutionalism and the rule of law. We are going to remove all oppressive laws from the law books that we have. And very, very finally, we are going to have lifestyle audits as part of our fight against corruption. If you are serving the government, you must tell us where the money you're using is coming from, because we want to make sure that the money of the citizens is used to fight for the rights of the people and not for personal aggrandizement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again, Mr. SG. I think that's a very clear plan about how we are going to undo the shrinking space that we enjoy as a country. I just want to let you know that it is possible to access this manifesto on the party official social media platforms, on the party website. Please look for it and be able to read some of the things that may not be captured in these short presentations. Having said that, allow me welcome the leader of opposition, our party spokesperson, to present the second priority area, which is on ending corruption and wasteful expenditure. Thank you.
Shalom Uganda, Diaspora Media Uganda.
Thank you. This reminds me of our school debating days, where you're given 5 minutes to hammer the point. I'll attempt to do that. Our manifesto priority area number 2 is ending corruption and wasteful government expenditure. One of the biggest quandaries we have in our country. Let me paint a picture for you quickly. Our national debt currently is 116 trillion shillings. That's how much you and I owe. That means every Ugandan, including the baby that was born this morning, owes 2.5 million shillings. Every single Ugandan, including those who have never seen that kind of money. That's how bad it is. We've got undisbursed loans, money that is borrowed, and it sits on accounts unutilized for a very long period, and yet we have got to pay interest on that. That has got to end. We want to plan for our country efficaciously, and it's possible for us to be able to do that. As you know, some of the borrowed money is stolen. We have a debt rollover, which we accumulate annually. That's money that we borrow and we are unable to pay. Domestic arrears. There's something called domestic arrears when government, ordinary people do business with government and government doesn't pay. That figure is 14 trillion shillings. People who supply food to government, ministries, departments, and so on, who do construction work, ordinary Ugandan people, 14 trillion shillings. These people borrow money from the bank so that they can do this government job, and government doesn't pay. So businesses are crumbling, local businesses. Meanwhile, we have foreign investors who come here. They are guaranteed land, they're given free land, tax holidays, they're guaranteed money. Pineti, I don't know, whoever, Rocco, was given 200 plus billion shillings. Achiak Sugar Factory, 600 billion shillings. Day Biopharma. These guys who promised to put together a COVID vaccine, 723 billion shillings. That nonsense is going to under our leadership. So that will focus on the ordinary Ugandan. There's no reason why our roads cannot be built by these young engineers who graduate. It's something that we should be able to do, but you bring foreigners here, they consume all the money, including the freebies that we give them. Look, we have got a lot of poor planning that happens, something that we want to eliminate. Every year, we have several schedules of supplementary budgets, up to about 5 trillion shillings. Now, a supplementary is supposed to be ebigwa bitalazi. Abantu bafunye ebizibu, bududa, and so on, and then government comes to parliament and says, we didn't plan for this. Let's avail money. But here is the surprising thing. State House, Office of the President, which uses, by the way, over 2 billion shillings per day. Their annual budget is exhausted in the first quarter, in 3 months. That's a reality, always. In the first 3 months, their entire 12 months budget is exhausted. Then they come back to Parliament for supplementary budgets. That nonsense has got to stop. And we intend to stop it. We have extensively talked about corruption. We know that on an annual basis, we lose 10 trillion shillings per year to theft. Those are hospitals, those are schools, those are roads that are stolen on an annual basis. Our government intends to make it risky for anyone to steal taxpayers' money. I know there are people who have said, and I know folks in the Inspectorate of Government, they say our challenge is our people are not morally upright. That's why there's a lot of stealing that happens. Man is inherently evil. Look, governments elsewhere, countries elsewhere where there's not as much corruption, it's not because their people are morally upright and good. No, government has made it risky to steal. You steal taxpayers' money, we lock you up. So that others speak a lesson and know you cannot touch taxpayers' money. So we don't want to always talk about corruption like these folks. You will see action. Finally, we intend to eliminate taxes on essential items like menstrual products, scholastic materials, and school data bundle. We were debating this issue sometime in Parliament, and there was a young lady, I now hear she's going to run for woman MP. She's the current youth MP, Uganda. Now I hear she wants to represent the people of Luwero as woman MP. She said, no, let's not reduce taxes on Pampers, because when we reduce taxes on Pampers, we shall be promoting homosexuality. I said, did this one even go to school? How do you reason that way? Anyway, for us, we want to practically do that so that it is accessible by our ordinary people, by the poor people whom we must be able to bolster. Here is a catch. We want to introduce a paid tax threshold of 1 million shillings. That means, for those of you that are employed in the formal sector, because currently for as long as you earn anything above 249,000, you are in the tax bracket, you must pay tax. First, we are saying no. Anyone who earns below 1 million shillings, we are not going to tax that money. That is your money. So the tax threshold is going to be 1 million shillings. Anything below 1 million shillings, that is your money. Use it to better yourself as an individual. That works a lot better than, we have been seeing all these programs, throw money at people, PDM, yoga, youth livelihood. And yes, we want to bolster our people, and you'll be seeing many of those programs where we can bolster the ordinary people as opposed to foreigners. This money we are throwing at these foreign investors, no, we want to put it in the local people's businesses. But you begin that by lessening the tax burden on our ordinary folks. That's something that we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our party spokesperson. Now, this country seems to have a lot of divisions. We've had governments which pity us against each other, people from regions versus the other regions. But we are one people, we are Uganda, and that's why in our third priority point, we talk about national unity. We have a deliberate plan to make sure all of us live in this country united. I will invite Mr. Jogo Fred and Mr. Okot George to talk about national unity, which is part and parcel of our party, but also part of our manifesto. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, the President and everybody gathered here today. My name is George William Okoit. I am one of those presenting priority number 3 that states that we as a country must focus on consolidating our national unity. We come from a country that has a history of war. If you're very much aware, every part of this country, including Central, had at least 1 or 3 rebel groups. While all these rebel groups existed, they did not fight an individual. They were all fighting for leadership for everybody in this country. We have consumed fabricated history and distorted lies in a way that they tell us it is NRA that brought peace to the country. It is a lie. There were more than NRA groups that were fighting for peace. They simply lied the other varying parties to come together and drop their guns, gave their leaders offices like General Ali and others. Even us in Teso, we have them. They gave them positions so that they can tell their followers to stop. After they stopped, they were never compensated, they were never empowered, they were ravished in poverty. And that was done so that they can consolidate power in one person who we all know. And they told us, they gave us peace. They simply silenced guns. Other regions, I want to give an example of Teso. Teso, with the war that we went through, we lost our backbone economy, which was the cattle economy. We expected that when a government that is concerned of its own people takes over, the first thing they were supposed to do is to make sure that we, the people of Teso, are sat down and given an opportunity to forgive one another, reflect on their future, and concert their effort in developing the area while government is supporting them. As the National Unity Platform, this is our commitment and promise. We cannot arrive at a consolidated country peacefully without truth-telling. So as a government, we commit to establish a truth, reconciliation, and justice. And here we are demanding that as a country, can we come together? If you know you are responsible for having committed an atrocity, come forth and tell us what happened, not the lies. Ugandans value forgiveness. Ugandans value unity. We assume that somebody cannot forgive you unless you start by telling the truth. So we are saying as a government, first and foremost, we want to put that desk in place so that we track all the sources and the causes of why we went into war and therefore forge a way forward. Number two, as a government, we are saying, can we put in place at least a rehabilitation program? One beginning with psychotherapy rehabilitation. Because we cannot be able to think straight when all of us are suffering from post-trauma disorder syndrome. The syndrome is caused by direct face of traumatic events like war. That is the reason as to why they will never arrest an NUP member peacefully. They want to beat them up, bring the tortured one so that you can see, so that psychologically you suffer PTDS altogether. They want to make sure, because you know, PST is transferable through your gene. For us in Teso, people fear to face government because our parents transferred the gene of fear and trauma to us genetically. So we are saying as a government, we are putting in place a program to see how best we can de-escalate trauma in the mind of our people. I thank you. I give Jogo the chance.
Mr. Coit, we really come from war-torn areas because the energy you put on the mic, you just know these are people from war-torn areas. Because you have been crying for long, now you have the energy. I hope I'm not going to be also another one. Dear President and comrades present, my name is Jagovret, aspiring for MP for Kidum Municipality. When I was contacted to come and present on how reparations on war-torn areas can be done in the new government, I asked myself, how am I going to dress? Should I dress like a person coming from a war-ravaged area? Or should I dress like a person of a new Uganda? And I decided to dress like a person of a new Uganda. Because in the new Uganda, you don't need to look like your problem. In a new Uganda, no one should look at you and say, look at that bakoko. I learned this vocabulary because of teaching in Kampala for 6 years. Comrades, when I was coming, our bus stopped on the way and a group of people putting on round hats and holding sticks entered the bus. If you were supposed to be there and listen to the whispers of people in the bus say, they are there, they are passing. Yes, those are the Balalos who came to steal our land. Those are the ones. I looked at myself, really? In a new Uganda, we still look at somebody's dressing and we believe we can judge them because of the way we look? This is going to change in a new Uganda because of the promises that I'm going to enumerate now. One, we are going to end sectarianism and tribalism completely in Uganda. We are going to make sure that you are judged by the level of your brain, your competence. This issue of technical no, should stop, but we should go back to technical no, ow. You still remember that in your primary? Technical no, ow. We used to cram that. But these days it has changed. You need to know a certain language. No wonder a certain general called MK said he's going to teach our comrades a certain language that I don't even want to mention, because he is just weaponizing innocent people who have nothing to do with their government. That is a family rule. To To conclude, I want to say we are going to have equal pay for equal work. Teachers are striking. I want to tell you, in Central here, you are lucky. From Monday to Friday, you get children still going to school. Why? Because their parents can't pay school fees. From my village, children have not seen teachers for close to 25 days now. And teachers, the leaders of these teachers are moving around saying we are talking with government. Talking with government? Up to when? Elections are coming. Why don't they use this time for election to pay them if possible? So I'm sending a one to fellow teachers in Uganda. If there has never been a time you want to vote Museveni out, this is the time, because you have not been paid. Let me talk about national unity. We are going to organize national unity festivals and social cohesion functions, where if we are going to dance at the headquarters here, we are going to see Imbalo, we are going to see La Raka Raka, we are going to see Baksimba, we are going to see Otole, we are going to see Ajosi from Teso, we are going to bring the Karamojongs to jump here, we are going to have all kinds of dance. So because it is called national unity. Thank you so much. To conclude, we are going to empower the existing cultural traditional institutions. Comrades, you realize what happened to the king of Rwenzururu, King Wesley Mumbere, who was punished by the government for close to 6 years. He never stepped on his soil because he was telling the truth. In the new Uganda, traditional institutions are going to have their autonomy. Traditional institutions are going to be empowered, and this will work throughout the country. They are not going to be used simply to support the government in power, but to tell the truth to power. Thank you so much, comrades.
Shalom Television Uganda.
Afoy matek luakme choli lango Karamojong West Nile. Machalo National Unity Platform no. Watika wajoni gamente manyen papati enini obenero ni apoka matie Uganda makangat manyang kole kinani umebo ka chole kinero ni chol ka Karamojong kinani komechol beberu pe Uganda. Igamente manyen pa National Unity Platform wabenero ni lufonye kichulugi mabe wako fonye lutino. In Baganda we say abana basome, right? Children are going to go to school. Thank you so much. I continue. Oh no, thank you so much. Hey, my transport has started coming to go back to Kidgum.
Thank you so much. When you go back, tell them we love them so much. That said, before we have the next priority area discussed, our alumni from the School of Leadership are preparing a skit for us. So after the next presentation, let's prepare our minds to welcome them to present their skit. Having said that, I think the discussion around teachers not teaching and the poor quality education takes us to our next priority area, which is access to quality public services. And the emphasis there is quality. So I will welcome Dr. Judith Nalukwago and our very own Dr. Nambasa doctors to come and present on quality public services. Thank you.
Nambasa, Minister of Health.
People power. Our power. NUP. And everywhere. Even here. In the new Uganda. Mr. President, the Secretary General, the Leader of Opposition, all leaders present, and the general public of Uganda. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Dr. Shamim Nambasa, and I'll be presenting with Dr. Judith Nalukwago on priority number 4. And for priority number 4, we are saying that as the National Unity Platform, one of the things that we are going to put emphasis on is access to quality public services. When we talk about public services, we are talking health, we are talking education, we are talking clean water, we are talking transport, we are talking infrastructure. When we look at our health system at the moment, you will find that out of all the districts in Uganda, about 82 districts lack a general public hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that out of 2,100 plus sub-counties in this country, over 1,696 lack a health center for? If we have all those districts that do not have health centers, where are our people going to go when they fall sick? Recently, we saw Chris Bariomusi fall sick in his own constituency, but there wasn't a single hospital that could attend to him. He had to send for a helicopter to come and airlift him from his constituency, from the people that he represents, to be treated in a different districts where they also have their own MP. But I ask you Ugandans, how many of you have a contact that you can call for you to get a helicopter to airlift you from wherever you are? I think out of all of us here, it could only be Mr. President, but I'm not sure if he can. He says he also can't get a helicopter. So how many people are dying on a daily because they don't have access to good health care? When we speak about good health care, people believe that we are only speaking because we are privileged. I speak from the profession because I am one of them. I have served in those hospitals. I have been to Chirudu Dialysis Center, but I tell you that people fight for beds for them to be able to get dialysis. But I saw a photo of a certain country where a dog was getting dialysis. Our lives less important compared to the dogs that the whites own. We have seen pictures of babies at Kawempe Regional Referral Hospitals in these plastic chairs where you're seated today. Ladies and gentlemen, we lose over 100 mothers on a daily. It's sickening that as I hold this microphone, in this very minute that I'm speaking, there is a woman out there that is bleeding to death because there is no tranexamic acid, because they couldn't get oxytocin. Sorry, I'm going very far. Let me go to education, ladies and gentlemen. You see, in Uganda, over 1 million children that enroll in primary 1, only about 300,000 make it to primary 7. That is only about how many? 30%? Do you see what I'm saying? Where are these children going that are dropping out? Who is thinking about those very children? They are out there getting pregnant if they're ladies, or if it is a gentleman, he's now going into stealing. And these children are giving birth not to children, but to more poverty, because in the first reason they dropped out, it was because of poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, we find that there are districts, for example, in Napak, where the gentleman with the big heart claims to get 100%, but there is no single secondary school. Are you hearing me? Am I communicating, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, Minister of Education.
As we go ahead, we find that in the education sector, a single pupil is only allocated 20,000 for school fees in an entire year, while we see the Speaker's office getting billions for donations. We see so many spending a lot of money, in different things. They're giving out, they're dashing out money, but your child is allocated only 20,000 for them to be able to study for one entire year. I don't know what for. Ladies and gentlemen, when we speak about clean water, I've been to districts where people share water sources with cows. We find that cows are even getting clean water, but there are districts where they do not get clean water. Out of the 40 million Ugandans here, we find that about 38 million lack access to clean water and to toilets. Where are they putting their stool? Where are they defecating, ladies and gentlemen? There are those little veras that we find, Monkwere, where we pass. You find there is a heap because they don't have access to clean water, and it trickles down to the health system. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Platform promises to offer access to good roads. We find that out of the 1,500 plus roads that we have, I think it's 153,000 kilometers worth of road network, only about 6,338 kilometers are paved. That is only about 3.9% of the total road network in Uganda. But even out of that 3.9%, 20% is in good conditions. We have seen the roads that you use. We did the pothole exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw that we have lakes in the middle of roads. When we speak about our railway system, we don't even have a gauged railway system. That out of the entire railway system, only about 321 kilometers are operational. And from where we saw videos of our own train moving backwards, and everyone was saying, where is it going? But we know that in developed countries, trains are the quickest and easiest means of transport that they actually use. Trains can improve our road transport. Trains can be used to carry out trade from region to region, but that is not what we see in the current Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, when we study about the history of Africa, Uganda, when we constructed Entebbe International Airport, it was the largest international airport in East Africa. And that was before Mr. Museveni took over power. He takes over power 40 years down the road, and Entebbe International Airport is the only airport that we have. Yet it was the biggest in East Africa. We now admire Kenya, we admire Tanzania. But I mean, what are they doing? I had forgotten to tell you that when Magufuli took over power, he paved over 5,000 roads in 5 years. 5,000 kilometers of roads in 5 years. And Mr. Museveni has done that in 40 years. What more evidence do you need for you to say that it is now for us to have a new and better Uganda?
People power. Dr. Nalukogo Judith, nzize kubabuulira mu Luganda so that bajjajja bange ab'e Masaka ba Kigundu bategeere, ab'e Mawokota, ab'e Mukono muliyo. Musiibye mutanamwe mulina okutegeera. Bannange Dr. Shamima annyonnyodde mu Luzungu naye katuddeko mu Luganda. Ngenda kwanguyizaako kubanga obudde butukutte. Public service. Mu Uganda, population yaffe eri miliyoni 48. Nga tugenze maaso tuprojectinze mu mwaka 2026 population ya Uganda egenda efuuke miliyoni 16. Ne kwezo miliyoni 16 abasinga kwabo ebitundu 7 ku 10 bagenda kubeera bakozi. Kitegeeza Uganda oba government erina okwetegekera ekiseera ekyo. Bwe tukyetegekera tetugenda ku developinga. China yetegekera ekiseera ekyo. Singapore yakyetegekera ndowooza mulaba gye bali. So nga ntandika mu public service tunayo ebyobulamu, ebyenjigiriza, amaanyi g'amasannyalaze, amazzi amayonjo. Tulinayo enguudo, tulinayo eggaali z'omukka, tulinayo ebisaawe by'ennyonyi. Tugamba tuliwa nga Uganda biseera bino. Mu Uganda tulinayo districts 82 ezitalina malwaliro. Ate nga tulina ne sub-counties tezina health center 3s. Bannange health center 3s watandikira obujjanjabi mu system ya health mu Uganda. Naye ebyalo oba sub-counties amagombolola 1,600 tegalina health center 3s. Kamba buliyo ka story tawaddeyo nga tugenda nga tuva Emityana tugenda e Kyankwanzi ku campaign trail ya president. Netusanga health center 3 nensalawo ogikozesa okweyamba. Unfortunately yabadde abandoned. Temuli basawo n'abalwadde bali awo tebalina abakolako. Bwe nageze mu toilet okumanya zibadde abandoned. Nasanze ennumba Mr. President ennumba nezinnuma. Ennaku 3 mbadde siri campaign trail kubanga mbadde ngezaako okuwona. Naye ebyo bye twagala okukolako nti tewali health center 3 mu government ya His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ejja kubeera abandoned. Nga tugenda maaso Mwami Museveni alina emmotoka ezimutambuza 600. Si 600, si 600, wabula 600. Naye mu Uganda yonna tulina ambulances 178. Banna Uganda lwaki gavumenti eno tesobolako bye twagala okukyusa. Nga tugendako mu bya enjigiriza. Ndi musanyufu nti nno nze nzaaliddwa basomesa era nasomerako mu ssomero lya UPE so mmanye ekiriyo ate nga bazadde bange baakolanga lesson plans nga nange ndaba kyebeka kyeva bazaala omuwala omugezi naye tugende mu maaso. Mu byenjigiriza omwana oba buli mwana mu Uganda bamuwa $2,000 buli mwaka. $2,000 buli mwaka kisobola kukola ki bannayuganda? $2,000 tekisobola kugula na kalaamu oba kugula peni mu mwaka oba mu ttaamu egi buli mwana n'asobola okusoma. Mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi tugenda kwongeza funding mu UPE schools. Ekirala ekisinga obukulu bano abaana bagenda ku ssomero bambi ne bamala essaawa 8 nga tebalina kye balidde. Tetugenda kukkiriza ebyo mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi. Mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi buli mwana ajja kufuna emilwe at least emu buli lunaku basobola okonsentratinga mu kusoma kwabwe. Ekirala abasomesa beekalakaasa. Ekisooka tebamala kubanga bw'otunuulira staffing rate y'amasomero mu Uganda gali ku 34%. n'obutamala abasomesa era nze maama wange yasomesanga mu ssomero lya gavumenti naye ng'asomesa subjects 3. Lwaki omusomesa omu bamubadeninga okusomesa subjects 3? Buli subject erina okubeera n'omusomesa. N'ekirala abasomesa tebabasasudde bulungi. Kyobula beekalakaasa mu Uganda empya tewajja kubeerawo kwekalakaasa kubanga abasomesa bajja kubeera ne ssente ezimala era tujja basasula bulungi. Bwe tugenda ku ky'amazzi baganda bange abasinga mulwala typhoid temumanyi bino ebintu gye biva kubanga bannayuganda abasinga tebalina mazzi mayonjo kyokka nga tulina agayanja ga Nalubaale tulina kyoga byonna tubiina mu Uganda naye ensinga zi Saudi Arabia ezitalina nnyanja zirina amazzi amalungi ageyagaza naye wano mu Uganda tetugayina. Lwaki tubeera mu gavumenti bwetyo? Ne tugenda ku amasomero ebitundu 68 ku 100 tebirina mazzi. Amalwaliro ebitundu 44 ku 100 tebirina mazzi. Lwaki eddwaliro libeerawo nga terina mazzi? Bwe tugenda ku bya enguudo, Dr. Shamimba agambye nti tulina network y'enguudo emitwalo 15 ne kwagyo emitwalo 15 kilometers nkakaaga zokka zenkole ate nga NRM yakakolako kilometers 4,000. Imagine emyaka 4 kitegeeza buli mwaka bakola kilomita 10. Incompetence of this government. Tetugenda jikiriza mu government empya oba mu Uganda empya. Nga tugenda maaso nti railway abasinga ddala bazadde baffe batusingako obukulu bazadde bamwe batambuliranga mu gaali y'omukka naye kati nze emyaka gyange okulaba ku gaali y'omukka nina genda bweru wa Uganda tekigenda kubeerawo mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi. Era byonna tugenda bikyusa mufune gaali y'omukka ng'osobola okubeera wano e Kampala yobeerayo omupiira mu Hoima City ng'olinnya high speed training etwala ddakiika 3 watuuse dda walabye omupiira wakomyewo. Ye Uganda empya tetubasuubiza. Ekirala era ebiddiridde okusemba amasanyalaze n'amazzi. Amasanyalaze ga bbeeyi. Uniti y'amasanyalaze ya siringi 10. Ngenda mu saluuni okunsiba enviiri okunnaaza bunaaza omuviiri omukyala wa saluuni n'angamba maama amasanyalaze ga bbeeyi nange nnyina okuggyako ssente nnyingi naye nga lwaki mbeera nsiba enviiri za ssente nnyingi nga lwaki gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi tejja uniti y'amasanyalaze ku siringi 10 n'ebiteeka ku siringi 5. Ekidomola ky'amazzi tugenda kukijja ku nnusu 20 tukiteeke ku nnusu 10. Bannayuganda mugenda kunyumirwa Uganda empya. Ate nga no connecting amazzi n'amasanyalaze bigenda kubeera bya bwerere gavumenti eno egenda bikolako. Ekisinga obukulu airport. Mukimanyi loopu waffe ng'akyakulira Kosase yavaayo n'abalaga nti mwezo waliyo abakyala bataasoma bye baaweeja emirimu abataasoma bonna tugenda bagobayo kale baasoma omugigi naye biri ebitabo byetwogerako bonna bataasoma tugenda bagobayo tuteekeyo abantu abasobola okumanaginga air transport yaffe so that buli region wabeereyo airport nga munnayuganda asobola okubuuka n'ava wano nga bwe kiri e Kenya ababaddeko e Kenya mukimanyi abantu bavuga okuva e Mombasa ne bagenda e Nairobi ata a low cost bye betwagala mu Uganda empya. Bannayuganda nga mmaliriza mukimanyi tubyogeddeko sente za health zigenda kwongezebwa tugenda kwongeza sente funding mu government hospitals ate n'abaana baffe bajja kulyanga emmere y'obwerere buli lunaku. Neyanziza nnyo people power our power.
Thank you so much, Dr. Judith. In conclusion, here is what the new Uganda promises. With the National Unity Platform, we are saying that our health centers are going to be increased. We are going to increase funding in the healthcare system to about 25% or even more, considering what was promised in the Abuja Declaration that said if the health system must improve, at least 16% of the national budget must be dedicated to the health system. We are going to recruit doctors 16 times more than what we have at present. And we are saying that every health center 3 must have a doctor. And we are going to triple other healthcare workers in the new Uganda. In the new Uganda, the funding for the education sector is going to be increased. We are saying, why should our teachers be struggling? Yet we have a lot of money. We have over 10 trillion that is stolen to corruption every year, but our teachers do not have enough salary. We are saying that connection to the national grid for electricity is going to be free of charge. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to buy electricity poles anymore. You do not have to pay for the wires to have electricity in your homes. We are going to remove value-added tax on electricity bills. We are going to make sure that businesses and domestic users of electricity, where SMEs fall, do not have to pay VAT. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make sure that every village has 10 water sources, clean water sources, and all town councils and municipal councils must construct toilets that will be accessed for free, ladies and gentlemen. I feel so bad when I go to Kampala and I have to look for a toilet and I pay, yet it is even dirty, but they are going to be free of charge in the new Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a railway that connects all the 4 regions in Uganda. Why should it take you 8 hours, 12 hours to come from here to Yumbi, yet you can use a train and get there in 4 hours? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make sure that we have regional, international airports. These Entebbe airports that you see, we are going to put down and we lift very new, good-looking international airports. And there is no reason why you will have to come from Ntungamo to Entebbe to board a plane to Rwanda. Do you understand? Yeah. That is what we are saying. We are saying that in the new Uganda, you will not have to struggle for anything. We shall make sure that whatever it is that you need as a public service is availed to you. People power. Our power. Kunga Uganda kunga. Thank you so much.
From what you've heard, do you want more of the same or you want change? You already have a clear picture of what is going to be in the new Uganda. And we are not just saying we are going to do these things, we have people who are going to do these things. I'm sure you're confident that these young ladies and doctors are capable of delivering what they have just promised. That said, before we welcome our alumni to perform the skit, we shall first have a surprise artist, Felista the superstar. He's going to sing, perform for us. Thank you so much. DJ.
Felista the superstar. The winter baby too. On a jump of Wakalulu. Yaya Garabantu. I get up of Wakalulu. You know what you went up on my say. The baby too. On a jump of Wakalulu mama. Yaya Garabantu. I get up of Wakalulu mama. You know what you went up. Oh, get down with it. Yani, 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 singo bululu, yani, tumu wendulu, yani, akutte tutu. Oh, you're gonna go for the what? Mama, abana na yamba kwe, abatana na yamba, kuni na kuno, omwaka wange, tumwase bituno byange, yono, fana ni gafe, kwe tumutike misimu byange, yani, 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 tuwe, yani, tuwe vitu, yani, singawandu, abakate na yamba, kwe, abana na yamba, abatana na yamba, abarakaba. Kaberenge, ono yabasinga bwengambye, ngambe yake kuko waffe, atukudo kutide nyange, ono ulira, kubanga lulu tebamulya nganye, ono mpoteka kizange, kubanga kalulu tebamulya, tebanimba, tebanimba, tebondesha sente zetuna, tebanimba nze tebamvuba, mumaze, segoma, enda, abalala segoma, the brother from a Jersey, leader to a woman, with it, Bobi, Mama, soda. Yani tumuwendulu, yani akutetetu, yani zingawamuze. We, tumukosa bizimuda fedi nsanyuse nnyo okubeera wano eno badde nina Masaka naye ŋŋambye so agenda nga sirabye mukulembeze wange banaye mukulembeze wange nkwagala nnyo era nsaba luno olutabalolozeemu oluwangule bulungi kwagala nnyo taata eyanziza nnyo banaye omukulembeze yansuubiza haga mutirabye haga teyaŋŋamba agirese eyanza nnyo Mr. President.
Webale nnyo mu Uganda empya era nja kweyagala nnyo. Thank you so much for that. We are going to have one more presentation and then we'll have the skit. At this point, many of you have been asking, because in our manifesto we have told you we are going to create 10 million jobs, and many of you have been saying, how is that possible? I think most of you have gotten used to governments which don't create jobs. I'm going to welcome Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi to present on the issue of unemployment and how we are going to create jobs for you. Thank you so much.
People power, our power, NUP, President kantwalayo omukisa ogw'enjawulo okukulisaayo mu Greater Mubende ne Greater Luweero. Bane mumukuliseeyo kyabadde kyakabi yakikoze. One, let me start with a simple philosophy in managing an economy. It is akin to going to war. Because quite often, after all this struggle we are in to remove a dictator, and our president, after swearing in, he will be just occupying momentarily a certain hill stop. But it will also define how far the climb has been and how steep the next journey to end unemployment, to create a better life, to give our people better opportunities. It will just be a beginning of a major struggle. Now, like any other war, developing an economy entails taking over what we call commanding heights. Commanding heights of an economy starts with, I'll only mention two that are very relevant. A commanding height of an economy, the first one is an emergency of an enlightened elite class in a country. I'm using the word enlightened, not people who have gone to school. An enlightened elite class is aware they must live simple so that their people must simply live. They do every sacrifice. They have a command of duty, responsibility, commitment, sacrifice, patriotism, and courage to ensure they deliver a nation. The second commanding height is an emergency, a skilled, which they've talked about, of a skilled, healthy, working human resource, for which people have talked about health and education. Another commanding height is peace. When I talk about peace, I'm speaking about durable, predictable, peace that we take for granted, not an absence of war and gunshots. Once you have that peace and stability, then you have occupied another commanding height. But in the role of that peace is the role of the military, for which most militaries in Africa fail African presidents. The military complex, other than war, is the gatherer of strategic information and direction of a country. They have a duty to unflinchingly speak to a president, no matter how difficult, to tell the president that what you are doing is not right, change direction, take a new course because of the future of our country. Now, our military think all they do is to consolidate and the presidency. Another commanding height, of course, is finance and banking, which I'll leave. But my role was to demonstrate to you that you can create 10 million new jobs. I think that is an understatement. In Tanzania here, they have demonstrated, starting with the Magufuli, that in 5 years you can transform a country. The young man, the general, in the friend of the president, who Traore, has demonstrated that in 3 years just, you can transform a country. We are sure with the National Unity Platform, with the discipline of the National Unity Platform, it will take us 2 to 3 years to put Uganda right and begin a new course, not just to give you peace and stability, to give this country a heritage of an ever-improving destiny. I'm speaking about a heritage. Chabusika. Countries change forever. Good leaders don't change countries momentarily during their regime. They give them a basis of an ever better life for their citizens. And it is possible, starting with Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and the National Unity Platform. Will it be reinventing the wheel? No. Nations start from somewhere. America was given an opportunity by one man called George Washington. So was India. China was given an opportunity by Chairman Mao and others. Singapore by Lee Kuan Yew, and so many other countries. So I have no doubt, and I've worked with our president closely. I have no doubt he will deliver Uganda to a promised land. So be out there, and all you have to do is to go out 4 months from now, 2 months, and vote. Now, this is what we are going to do to create jobs. One, we are going to leverage tourism. Tourism has the potential to create new jobs in Uganda. And let me speak about tourism. Tourism today does not mean the presence of crocodile and lions. For you to have a tourist destination, you must improve all the things the Salims have talked about: infrastructure, have peace, have better roads, have communication, have better hotels. Once you do that, tourists will simply come, even without branding. So you don't need to. There must be roads without tanks and tear gas. There must be respect for human rights. Every time you put Eddie Mutwe in a basement, you are discouraging 1,000 and hundreds of thousands tourists. No one wants to come to a country where people are put in a basement. It can't. Every time you see jam on Kampala Road, you are discouraging tourists. So today people go to Dubai. Are there dinosaurs in Dubai? Are there lions in Dubai? Are there valleys in Dubai? Are there rivers in Dubai? It's because they have done a first-class infrastructure. That's what our government will do. The second thing we shall do to leverage is to create an industrial sector that can create jobs. An industrial sector that can create jobs will be the one that has a backward and forward linkage. Backward linkage is an industrial base that will be built on our comparative advantage, which is agriculture. And when you build an industry on agriculture, two, we are now getting a new comparative advantage. We are one of the richest nations in mineral potential in the world. From oil to uranium to gold to tin to everything you need in Uganda we have. How very fast shall actually the thinking in the other sector of the economy is, if we had developed our industrial sector our mineral sector faster, we would never have needed to borrow to develop the oil sector. Therefore, we are going to fast track a huge industrial complex based on our mineral resources, on our agricultural resources, on our fish industry, on everything we have, and create hundreds and millions of jobs for our people. We're also going to do where our president comes from. He has been speaking about the 4 A's, okay? The art, the academics, so we are going to do a sports and arts industry that will deliver Uganda. We can tell you today, a 1 billionaire that has joined the billionaire rank this week by Forbes magazine is not an industrialist. He's a one man called Cristiano Ronaldo. Is a footballer. How many Cristiano Ronaldos can we have in Uganda? You see a young man like Okello, Alan Okello. Had he been given opportunities years back, that one would be a billionaire in the making. We have artists that are doing so well. We've just seen a young girl here performing so perfect. In another world, this younger girl instantly will be a millionaire in terms of millions of what? Dollars. They'll not be performing in illegally. No. And there you need a right law, corporate law. You need a law that protects artists. You need a law that ensures that they earn from their talent. And that law, Mr. President, in the next 200 days of our parliament, we will put that law in place. So once you do those best things, then other things simply fall in. So our promise for a new Uganda is a Uganda that will ensure you have a heritage of prosperity, not for now, not for our children, it will be for infinity and beyond. And with those few words, I thank you. I'm requested to translate what I've talked about in Uganda briefly. Ensi yonna National Unity Platform bwemala okuwangula egenda ku lutabaalo olwokubiri. Olutabaalo olwokubiri lwe lw'okukyusa obulamu bw'abannansi, okubajja mu mbeera embi gye mukooye tugende mu mbeera ki ey'okwesiima. Tetubagamba tulwanirira mu nsi muno mubeere baavu. No, ekitulwanyisa bannayuganda mubeere baki bagagga nga muli mu bulamu obukola ki obwesiimisa, nga temusula na sewage. Wano mu Uganda abantu basula n'ebinyonyi. Wano mu Uganda abantu basula n'ente. Abantu mu Uganda basula wamu n'embuzi nga temuli mu nnyumba za nsiisira. Ng'obudde bwe buziba tekitegeeza kizikiza, kitegeeza ekitangaala obukulembeze obulungi obulala bwe bukikuwadde. Ng'abantu abagala okuba obulungi muli buki bulungi, n'olwekyo olutalo lwe tuliko lwakuba buki bulungi, kubanga tukooye embeera ki embi. Ebyo okubifuna wano wammanga tulina bikola. One, wateekwa okuvaayo abakulembeze abaagala eggwanga lyabwe nga ddala ddala mweyokya ggwanga. Ekyo kitegeeza si bakulembeze bannabyabufuzi bokka, nammwe mwenna bagayi. Oli kaawo, oli simanyi, oli community development officer, oli nurse, oli headmaster, working a permanent secretary in our government, a corrupt one, pack your bags nga tetunnasimbula. Olumala okulayira bwoti olya nti oli mu jini y'obuli corrupt, please just run away. Kyagulanyi atuuse, kiboko ya uchafu. Kiboko ya uchi. Kiboko ya uchi. Kiboko ya uchi. No, gwe tuleeta kiboko ya uchi. Buli alimu tate kobeere speaker ojja genda, kobeere ame commander ojja genda, kobeere nga gwe scientist asooka mweba permanent secretary simawaki abali mu office eyo musibe ettaayi tubaviira ku nguudo tubawa emmotoka empya tubasasulira insurance. Please, obuvunaanyizibwa bwammwe bugenda kuba kolera bbanga lyaffe n'abantu baffe. Ne political class will be required to do that. Political class ntegeeza buli omu okuva ku president, genda ku kansala, genda ku w'omuluka, genda ku gwe kada foot soldier. Tokola ba foot soldier, genda mu gavumenti ng'osuubira tinaawe olifuna omukisa okubba essente z'eggwanga. Ekitutwala mu kino kwenswalinga nti abaana baffe n'ensi yaffe tubawo ekyobusika ekyaleero, ekyenkya, ekirivaawo, abadan abada tugende mu nsi ey'essanyu, okwesiima, okuba obulungi, okweyagala, okufa nga tetukolima lwaki twazaalibwa. Ne wano n'otuka okwegomba okufa. Njabawa story. Bantwala e Lusira maximum prison mu bya popular resistance. Nensangayo omwana omuto. Bali bwe young boys. Ne mbabuuza lwaki babakutte. Ne baŋŋamba wano e Lusira wootulese Muwanga wootusanze twesiimika okuba wano ddaana okuba ebweyo. Ne mbabuuza lwaki. Ne baŋŋamba ti wano mukomera tuli assured ekyeggulu kya kawunga naye weekiri. N'olwekyo ekkomera we nabasanga they were happy to be in prison because they will be assured of supper and dinner and shelter. That's not the Uganda. Omuto ajja preferring okusigala mu kkomera ddaana okubeera ebuki ebweru kubanga eri mu kkomera afuna ekyeggulo oba ekyemiki ekyemisana. N'olwekyo tugenda kutumbula ebyobulambuzi nga tutandikira ddala okulaba nti buli kimu ekikola obulambuzi tukiteekamu ssente ezeetaagisa tusobole okuleeta abalambuzi baleete ssente bazireke wano nga bwe baba mu Uganda tebeeralikira tiyagasi, tebeeralikira kukwatibwa batwalibwa mu kkomera, tebajja kulwa mu infrastructure. Actually e Malaysia waliyo tourism police. Abalambuzi be bajja e Malaysia okuva ku airport ng'oli mulambuzi mu kifeeda kadengezi ne zitwala balupembe ogenda okutubba bw'ojja ng'oli mulambuzi nga tukuyisa mu traffic jam mangu nga tukutwala mu hoteli ennungi ng'osasula ng'abaana baffe bafuna emirimu. Instead wano emmotoka za poliisi zitambuza balupembe bagenda mu ofiisi kunyaga ssente zaffe. No, those pickups will be picked from you tuziwe twice zibanguye okutuuka we tubagirako ki lupiya. Ekyo kinaaba kibi. Tugenda kuzimba amakolera gannamaddala. Amakolera gaffe bagenda kukola kye bagamba kusinziira ku maanyi n'ebyobugagga Katonda byakola ki byatuwa. Uganda bannange buli kimu tukiina. Mbabulya tetulina okubeera wano tewali yazze leero nga gavumenti oba owegombola yamuwadde emmere. Waali wano waliwo eyazze ng'omwezi guno yafunayo akawunga ka gavumenti nga yafunayo omuceere gwa gavumenti. N'ekyo ensi esobola okweriisa olubuto tekitwala myaka 3 4 kugitereeza. Sebo president myaka 3 ekiti mujja kubeera mu ggwanga eddala. Sirino lye mukoze eki lye mubaddemu nga n'ebyenfuna weebiki bitangaavu. Kokola ekyo tugenda kukwata ebyobugagga mu ttaka ku nnyanja. Tugenda kuzimba amakolero nga gasobola okuliikiriza oba galiikirizibwa obuki obulimi n'okwongera ssente mu by'obulimi. Tugenda kutumbula ebitone by'abantu bonna mu Uganda asobola okudduka gwe kanya okugulunyweza, asobola okuba ebikonde naawe nyweza ebikonde, asobola okuyimba bambi teekamu amaanyi, asobola buli kyosobola okukola kiteekemu amaanyi. Anti Kyagulanyi ajja. Abantu mwekka bateetaaga Kyagulanyi namweka mbabuulire mwe ababbi abagayaavu abatukaleeti ku mirimu ono gwe tuleese kibooko ya bucaafu. Kibooko ya bucaafu. National Unity Platform is a train for disciplining Ugandans and delivering for a better country. I thank you. God bless you.
Ebale nnyo Deputy President bw'awulidde ebigenda okubeera mu Uganda empya afunye akakisa okubeera wano ddayo otegeeze buli omu ky'owulidde leero era abantu mu bagambe abali those who had given up empapula kw'enfuufu Uganda empya empapula ezo zigenda kuba za mugaso. Buli omu azze wano kyowulidde tegeezaako munno asobole okutegeera ekitulundiridde mu Uganda empya. Having said that, mujja kutuukiriza tuweeko omukisa alumni ba School of Leadership baje baperforminge wano skit.
People power! Our power!
People power!
NUP! And everywhere! Ladies and gentlemen, basobole bajja bamukirize mbategeeze nti ye fela official campaigners aba flag bearers NUP. Basegede bulungi kakati listen very carefully to the good news, ladies and gentlemen.
To the oppressed, to the mothers who put bed on hospital floors, to the parents whose children have been seated at home for close to a month. This is the good news. In less than 2 to 3 months, we are entering a new Uganda. People power!
Our power!
Our power!
People power!
NUP!
People power! Our power! People. Kunga! Kunga! NUP Kunga! Kunga is exactly like Kunga! Kunga! Musajja atechi oyocha awa akabonero ki ku president ku MP tulondanga to agwe awo oyocha. Your system was sham. No, how do you live such an this gentleman uliniza oyocha in fact oyocheza osiriziza. This guy here, we know him. He competed for the party card. He was not given that chance. And then you decided to run independently.
But I've been in the party for so long. I've worked for the party. I've moved with the president everywhere. But now you're calling
my friend, we had trust in you. We trusted you. You know the party ideology. You know everything. No, shame be upon you.
Our power!
Our power!
NUP!
Everywhere!
Everywhere!
The flag bearer is here!
Hello, comrades! My name is Honorable Gorogoro. And I am the flag bearer of Kamvure East Constituency.
People! Good!
I am here to tell you about my manifesto.
Before even the manifesto, Gorogoro Jew! Honorable Gorogoro Jew!
My first thing that I'm going to do as Honorable Gorogoro is to make sure I supply sugar. I am going to make sure I supply salt. I can't do the process. Everybody will have salt in their homes. What is he talking about? I am the rightful honorable, and I'm giving you sugar and salt.
Honorable.
Listen. The other one I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I give you rice, pilau, Honorable,
what is that?
That is my beautiful manifesto.
I see. I don't know. Relax.
Yes.
You are the flag bearer of NUP.
Yes.
My friend, NUP has a very strong manifesto.
Are you sure?
You don't have to fidget around looking for what to say, to tell people. Just listen, there is a very strong manifesto. Don't worry.
Our manifesto has priorities. Priority number 1, restore freedom, constitutionalism, rule of law, and our party, everything.
Leader manifesto.
Honorable, I want to tell you, our manifesto has priorities. Priorities number 2. We want to end corruption and wasteful expenditure. We're going to have a lean and efficient government. MPs twagala abiri, ministers twagala abiri, MPs twagala 8, district twagala zikendeza. Honorable. Yes. We are going to have in a new Uganda, we are going to consolidate national unity. We are going to rebuild communities and eliminate sectarianism. Uganda manifesto.
Good. Listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the new Uganda, that we the citizens of this beloved our country are claiming for now.
Yes.
National Unity Platform Manifesto guarantees equal access to quality public services. Ladies and gentlemen, clean water, good education, health care, energy and public infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, National Unity Platform Manifesto got you in this our country that we are suffering with high rate of unemployment and poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, the new manifesto is going to create 10 million new jobs in this our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Platform Manifesto got you all in this our country. Whether we have children that suffer hunger in schools, ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Platform Manifesto is going to establish a public school feeding program to transform agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, what a manifesto.
Why? Put the priorities down. Put the priorities down. Comrades, yes, honorables, we still have much more. Not only the already outlined priorities of the manifesto, but our mighty party is also committed to tackle all issues on land with immediate effect. It will stop land grabbing, it will restore stolen land to victimized individuals, as well as set guarantees to secure land rights. All good news for you, comrades. As reflected to the priority 8 of our manifesto, our NUP as a party will directly promote decentralization at all levels, both at local and regional government. My friends, my honorables, my comrades, our mighty party, the NUP, is going to strengthen the foreign policy, positioning the diaspora as an asset, as well as strengthen our competition at global level in order to build and develop our country in the new Uganda.
James, in a new Uganda, natural resource management and technology.
Now, gentlemen, you made a very big mistake. We had trust in you. But since you decided to stand against the flag bearer, first of all, you violated all the party values. Think about the revolutionary discipline, where you had to accept the results. No, you are no longer trusted. You lost that trustworthiness. You are no longer reliable, and you lost the integrity.
Continue about our party constitution. Article 5(4)(a) talks about the obligation of you as a member of the party, that you have the obligation to abide and protect our party constitution. And Article 5(5)(c) also tells you that if anyone stands against the party flag bearer there and then, you cease to be a member of National Unity Platform.
Therefore, your candidate is no longer a member. Yes.
Honorable. President Ngobi atukobera tusibe ebugaito sikutikinga engaito ebigaito byo
Ladies and gentlemen, we have foreigners here.
Am I also permitted to call you comrades? We've keenly listened to you, and it comes up to my concern that indeed Honorable His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is the true leader of Uganda. Lastly, I want to categorically state that You do not, according to your manifesto, you do not have to be an elite to work for the people or to execute duties for the people. NUP manifesto is the only way to go.
People power! Our power! Wakadodiariwa. Kona, mama. Moviro wenga te unya. And you Uganda now. But remove this. It needs a very serious barrier. Who wants it?
I'm going to try my best. Next time better. Those are the alumni from our School of Leadership. Era okusoma kulungi. Buli omu yandigwanidde akakisa okusoma era essomero lyaffe ebyo bivuddemu mu ssomero lyaffe. We hope to expand the capacity of the school. Of course, it's regrettable that this government has abducted our leaders of the school, but at least you can see the value that comes of that out of that investment. We continuously tell you that the government we have currently is working against you, not for you. No one would not want to have a school which gives us such products, such levels of creativity. Naye tulowooza nti mwena abadde balaba mutegedde ensonga eziri mu manifesto yaffe. At this point, our time is fast spent, but also conveniently, we plan that when it reaches this time, we can present the popular school feeding program. So the next priority area is the school feeding program, which is going to be presented by our party treasurer, Honorable Benjamin Katana. You're welcome.
People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. You know, it's very dangerous to talk about feeding at a time when people are beginning to feel hungry. I will take a short time. Mr. President, our distinguished leaders, and all of you citizens, fellow citizens gathered here, and those that are watching us from elsewhere. I am here to share one of the priority areas in our manifesto, which is about the school feeding program. As a nation, we have had the misfortune of being led by a group of incompetent and unambitious people who only measure success on the basis of the past. And as a result, they have made some sections of our society equal and ambitious. And when we present a very fine picture of how a new Uganda, the future will look like my colleagues have ably done, there are many people who doubt whether it will be implemented or not. The school feeding program is a multi-sectoral, multi-purpose, and multi-dimensional program that is intended to achieve about 4 objectives under the bigger idea of NUP's plan for improving the quality of life of Ugandans. Because a government which cares about its people, a government which is people-centered, will automatically focus on improving the quality of life of the citizens. So the first objective under this plan, the plan is basically about providing a meal to the school-going children at primary level every day, a hot meal that is nutritious. And of course, we are going to do a survey, and the materials will be sourced from the homesteads in this country. So the first objective is to boost household incomes. And how do we intend to achieve this? We intend to elevate the household in Uganda into a production unit that will produce these raw materials that will be procured for purposes of feeding the children at school. If you are in an area, for example, that produces soya bean, and we know that it's a nutritious product that will help to boost the growth of these children, that will help to eliminate malnutrition-related diseases, then the investment will be in soybean to make sure that the different households in that area are supported to produce soybean, which will be procured by the school to feed the children. If you are from a fishing community and you have silverfish mukene, or you have fish, the investment of the NUP government will be in that sector to make sure that the households are able to supply the school with this product and earn money, but also feed the children. If you are from a milk producing community, and we have so many people who have been struggling with the market for their milk to the extent that sometimes you see they are pouring it, sometimes they are selling it at 200 shillings a litre, when in Kampala it is 2,000 a litre. We are going to provide a market at the nearest school. The government of NUP will procure the milk, feed your children will be healthy, but your pockets will also be healthy. The other aspect related to that, away from boosting the household incomes, is boosting agriculture. Agriculture is the leading employer in this country. However, it has not received sufficient support from government. And one of the challenges that the farmers face is a lack of market for their products. I've given you an example of milk, and there are several other examples where people are struggling to find market for their products. Sometimes they are even cheated by the middlemen and middlewomen, but also cheated by the so-called industrialists who are protected by the cartel whose ambition is only to extract money from the population. So now we want to create a market at the nearest school in your community to make sure that now your products will be sold to the school, you will earn money, your children will feed, and they will learn well. The other aspect related to that is fostering better learning environment. A hungry child cannot concentrate in class. By the statistics of government itself, today, the dropout rate in primary school is 68%. By implication, it means that out of 100 people who enroll in P1, 68 of those 100 don't complete P7. And that is a time bomb. And my colleagues have ably explained the other interventions that our government is going to come up with, including the increment on the capitation grant from the 6,000 per term to a more reasonable figure. But we are now also, in addition to that, going to introduce feeding of children at school so that people are not driven out of class by hunger to go to prison like the ones that the Honorable Mwanga was talking about. Even in school, you see, children are comfortable going to jail because they are assured of dinner. But now we want to make sure that they are comfortable going to school because they are assured of a meal, and a nutritious meal. Fellow citizens, the other intervention related to that is about the elimination of malnutrition. Every household in Uganda today spends a lot of money, and which money most households do not have, on meeting medical bills for taking children to hospital. And most of these children fall sick because of low immunity levels, because of poor feeding. So by feeding these children with a hot, nutritious meal every day, we are going to reduce the cost of medical bills significant amounts by making sure that the children are healthy, they are feeding well, and they are learning. They are not missing school because they are sick, and the parents are not spending money they don't have on them to meet medical bills because they are healthier. And so many people have been asking, when we have been talking about this, the school feeding program, that how are you going to implement this? We intend to implement it by working closely with PTA, the Parents Teachers Associations. Most of them under the current regime have collapsed, but we are going to work hard to make sure that we restore them, that we strengthen them, so they can be leading stakeholders, working with government, but particularly working with the community development officers at the sub-county for purposes of coordination to make sure that this program is implemented. We are also going to make sure, especially in areas where production of these nutritious things is a little bit complicated because of climate and other things. And we have other interventions like irrigation that my colleagues have talked about. But we are also going to make sure that we strengthen the production unit of state agencies like Uganda prisons so that they can be able to produce for some parts of the country that are not able to produce some of these products. And fellow citizens, this intervention also has a multiplier effect. In a sense, that if the schools in a certain sub-county in Chichusa are procuring eggs for the school, it means that even the person who makes the chicken feeds is going to get a business. It means that some young people are going to get jobs to work in the poultry farm. It means that some young people are going to get jobs to work in the feeds factory. So this program is comprehensive and it is intended to cover a number of dimensions. How do we intend to do this? We intend to spend 1,500 on each student per day. And we are targeting 5 million children for the initial program. The total cost of this comes to around 1.5 trillion to implement this. And many people have been asking that where are you going to get 1.5 trillion from? My colleagues have given you a clear picture of what is happening in Uganda, and our president has been emphasizing that Uganda is a rich country, but we are poor. We are poor people. Because the statistics of the Inspectorate of Government have placed the money lost to corruption to about 9 trillion a year. And for us, we are looking for 1.5 trillion to feed our children. That is a very insignificant part of the money that is lost. We have been told about the mineral wealth that this country is blessed with. Our responsibility is to utilize the wealth for the benefit of the citizens. And so many people have been asking that there is a program going on called Parish Development Model. That how is it going to continue surviving under the NUP government? NUP government is a pro-people government, is a pro-development government. And what has not been managed well, our responsibility is to manage it well. The money that people are being given, for example, to go and invest in whichever they please, without training, without proper alignment with the market forces, for us we shall invest it in making sure that households produce food which will be procured by the schools in their communities. And by doing so, the little money that they are given will have a big impact, not just on their income, but on the health of their children and the health of the nation. I thank you.
Thank you so much. If you think that 1.5 trillion is a lot of money, remember that Uganda, under the NRM government, has since spent 1.24 trillion on Lubowa Hospital project, which remains a construction site at best. So the problem is not the lack of finances, it is the misuse of those finances. Thank you so much. We are going to welcome Madame Ramto Apio Flavia, who will present about how we are going to stop land grabbing, which we think is a very serious challenge in this country that has affected all the other forms of development, because we believe that land is a very crucial factor of production and any other form of development you want to do. She will also be joined by Miss Natalie Margaret, who will present about empowering regional and local governance. Thank you so much. I welcome the able ladies to come and present that quickly. Let's utilize the time that we have.
People power. Our power. Our power.
People power.
My name
is Ramto Flavia Pio from northern Uganda, Omoro district. I bring you revolutionary greetings from all the villages of Omoro district. Firstly, because we are the first-hand victims of land grabbing in Uganda today. For many of us, for millions of Ugandans, if not all, we live in fear of losing our land, not to natural disasters, but to government officials, to government actors, and to many investors in the disguise of conservation. However, we bring you a new Uganda. No wonder, us from northern Uganda are very eager for the new Uganda. We are eagerly waiting. It's 3 months now. And I assure you, it is protest votes up there. Since 2006, my brothers from the north can testify. The Uganda Wildlife Authority gazetted the areas of our power in the disguise of conservation, I repeat. And our people of Madi and Acholi were forcefully and bitterly convicted from their land. Many years later, they were given unsatisfactory compensation. This has led to a lot of people picking arms against each other. Madi and Acholi have lived together from the times of our ancestors. But after this, we saw a lot of us picking arms against each other. We saw us picking pangas, fighting each other. Convictions have become a big issue in northern Uganda because it has torn our communities apart. Not just the communities of Acholi, but the communities of West Nile, of Karamoja, of Lango. But here's the good news. The National Unity Platform that seeks election to government looks to address visible solutions to these pending issues. First, we seek to protect Milo land and tenants by enforcing legal safeguards for Milo land owners and tenants. We'll also look at secure customary land rights by reviewing current and past land transactions and taking concrete steps to restore land to rightful owners. We're also looking at having registration of all land, from a small landowner in Amuru to a big landowner in Entebbe. All your land is registered, because why not? As young graduates, NUP also seeks to support us to use technology to establish a homegrown IT system using the blockchain technology that is a secure digital system. The graduates in the house, you need to be very excited because finally we shall have jobs in the new Uganda. This will accommodate registration of all land, I repeat, and they'll have no more forged and fraudulent titles. We're seeing a lot of people losing their land because the powerful and the people in the government are using fraudulent means to get titles. The National Unity Platform seeks with a bold vision on land rights where no one lives in fear of possible eviction, unhealthy conflict, fraudulent acquisition of titles, closing loopholes of land grabbing and neglected land rights. Thank you so much. And people power, our power. People power. Afoy down Dutch, Miku Malme Uganda, Mi Central Uganda, Mika Weng Uganda. Anya Ramto Apio Flavia, Aki Umoro District. Team Wabilorico Manifesto Area 7, Maloro Loka Manu Ngom, Padang, Ikumalume Uganda. Ki Yupo, Lok Pangom, Uganda Wakanti. Watie Machala
National Unity Platform, kawachi wabikelu ripe, minanoni, ngomu, mi palutadero, piki kwanyo ngom palutadero, ikimgang, piki kwanyo ngom palutadero, inoda Uganda, piki kwanyo ngom palutadero, kawen in Uganda kan, afore matter.
Isn't Uganda such a beautiful place? Thank you so much. We appreciate, we love you, we recognize the pains of our people who have lost their land under this government. But she talks about the fact that we are going to create a system where people can access digitally. Your land title and where it is kept should not be a secret. That it is hidden somewhere. Omuntu yenna yandibadde ategeera ettaka lye likomawa oba liriwa ekyapa kiriwa sobola okuteekawo system eyakalimagezi esobola otusobozesa ffe ng'abannansi okulaba ettaka lyaffe nekituyambako abantu abaagala nnyo okubba ettaka because they complicate the systems. That said, there is a special person, special to me and special to the team from this side, who has been breaking down the manifesto on their social media platforms. Those of you asking how can I understand the manifesto further, you'll go to Natavi's social media platforms and all their content is there. Allow me in a special way to welcome her to talk about regional and local governance devolution, the real one, not the one they pretend about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. People power, our power, a protocol observed. My name is Margaret Natavi. I am from Mokono municipality. And today I'm going to talk about priority number 8, which seeks to empower regional and local governance through real devolution. Now, when you're talking about devolution, we are basically speaking transfer of powers from the central government to the local government or regional government. And you should pay more attention to the word real, because someone from this government is going to come and argue that, oh, we have devolution, we have decentralization, but it is not real. Ladies and gentlemen, the decentralization in the interim government is pseudo, but the NUP government wants to bring to you real devolution. We want to have a region or a local government that has real power. Power to give you the public services you deserve. Power to make sure they make decisions that affect you, the common person. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to, with a very painful heart, I want to inform you that the local government, I want to bring to your attention that the local government only gets 7.2% of the total national budget, while we are supposed to do 70% of the work you see this government is doing. Why? If you didn't know, the local government is in charge of your roads. All those roads you see that do not connect to the roads that are constructed by UNRWA are done by the local government. The health centers you see in your community or in Uganda, they're under the care of the local government. The public schools or government schools you see in your area, they're under the care of the local government. But we get funding that is way less. And this National Unity Platform government wants to end that. Our promises are only 4 in the new Uganda when it comes to local government, because we know when we work on the local government, every Ugandan out there is going to receive the public services they need. Number 1, we want to bring what we call the National Devolution Dialogue Council. This is going to be like a committee that is going to be revising, because before the interim government came, or the governments before, we had regional governments. We didn't have these many districts we have today. When the interim government came and they bring the Local Government Act, they have been trying to break down the districts to the many 140 plus districts we have today. They are not breaking down the districts to improve the public services to you. They are basically breaking up districts to increase the votes, to increase the number of MPs in parliament that support the NRM. Now, for us, we are bringing this council to make sure we discuss. The council is going to have religious leaders, cultural leaders, civil leaders, and regional leaders to discuss. If we went back to regional governance, how would Uganda be? And this council, we want to bring it in 2026, immediately after swearing in. We come up with this council. Number two, I come with sad news for anyone here or anyone watching who was waiting to become an RDC in the NUP government. One thing we are going to delete immediately we get power are the offices of the RDC, assistant RDC, deputy RDC, because they're just taking our money, but not to improve services. I must tell you that, you see your LC1s and LC2 leaders, they get 10K, 10,000 Uganda shillings per month. And this money comes at the end of the year. Of recent parliament sat and they agreed to increase their money to 50,000. This government doesn't love you, dear Ugandans, because most of these LC1 chairpersons are NRM, but they get 10,000. That's why you see them out of office every time. That's why you see them increasing the amount of money you have to pay to get a stamp, which you would get a free of charge. Now, we've been telling you Ugandans that this government doesn't love you, and you didn't know until at least we from Mukono, we got the chance, and the man told us point blank live, Nchabe Mukono, sina chembeguya. Likewise, wherever you are, namwe taina chabeguya. So this is the time to vote for a leader aina chabeguya, a leader that wants to see that your well-being is improved. We want to address regional inequality. We must agree that Uganda faces the same problems when it comes to infrastructure, health, schools, etc. But also we must accept that the problems in the education sector in northern Uganda or in eastern Uganda are not the same as in central Uganda. We must agree that the health care or the roads in other regions of the country are not at the same level. So much as we want to improve these infrastructure and public services, we have to be careful on where we add more money so that we can lift different regions to the same level. And those are the four basic parts we are going to focus on. And maybe briefly for the people that do not understand English, National Unity Platform, ngetuse mu buyinza, twagala okulabanga tuteekawo olukiiko lwe tuyise National Devolution Dialogue Council. Olukiiko luno lugenda kubeerako abakulembeze ab'ekinnansi, abakulembeze ab'ebitongole by'obwannakyewa, abakulembeze bamwe be bulina essaawa eno, n'abakulembeze ba regions. Tulabe nti singa tuddeyo ku nkolero gye twalina eya federo, nga buli region erina obukulembeze obwayo, Uganda eno egenda kubeera etya? Kuba tugizudde nti districts ze tulina ennyingi gavumenti eno zeereese tebali muzireetawo kwongeza mpeereza y'emirimu gye balina obbakolera, wabula bajongeza muwendo gw'ababaka ba parliament abali mu parliament aba NRM. Basically tebali mukikola kubongeza bukulembeze. N'ekirala twagala twongeza ku funding, twongeze ku ssente ze tuwa local governments. Tulabye nga bakola ebitundu 7 ku buli 10 ku mirimu gavumenti eno gy'erina okukola mu masomero, mu malwaliro, ku nguudo n'ebirala, wabula ng'ate ssente ze babawa ntono nnyo. Twongeze from 7.6% gye tuliko kati up to 40% by 2030. Twagala tuteekayo graders, twagala tuteekayo tractors, twagala tuwe at least, kuba manifesto yagambye at least buli district ebeereyo ne tippers 5 okutandikirwako okulaba nga ziri ku solid waste management. Twogedde ku bachairperson b'ebyalo LC2s, akasente tugambye buli ssentebe w'ekyalo oba LC2 afuna omutwalo gumu buli mwezi, ate nga tezijja buli mwezi, zijja ng'omwaka guweddeko, kitegeeza mu mwaka ssentebe w'ekyalo afuna emitwalo 12. Parliament yatudde neeteesa babongereko bave ku mitwalo gumu mpaka ku mitwalo 5. Ne mbagamba bannayuganda, gavumenti eno tetwagalangako. Olaba LC abasinga mu Uganda bali mu kibiina kya NRM, naye bafuna omutwalo gumu n'ekitundu. Olwo gwe nakato waabwe nakaddu waabwe atali nawa NRM osubira bagenda kufaako ddi. Ne tugamba nti twagala twongeze nga bwe tuba tugaba ssente zigenda okukola emirimu mu regions za Uganda ez'enjawulo, tuzongeza okusinziira ku need nti abatalina masomero mu regions endala nti fena tulina ebizibu bye bimu obijja ku by'okusoma, ebyobulamu, enguudo n'ebirala, wabula tulina okukkiriza nti regions ez'enjawulo zifeesinga ebizibu bino mu ngeri za njawulo. Yes, mu Buganda tuyinza okugamba amasomero tulina mabi, naye nga level y'obubi gye tuliko ate si yemu n'abali mu eastern region oba mu northern oba mu west. Katwagala nga tuba tuweereza zino ssente tuzichanneling according to need okusinziira ku bwetaavu. So yeyo priority yaffe number 8 in brief, angala we lwabagambye bannayuganda mwenna nagezaako okumenya manifesto zino priorities zonna 11 mu Luganda kuva kwesooka paka kwesembayo. Page yange nze natabe ku TikTok n'abalala basharinze ku X. So in case totegeera Luganda babadde basharinga mu luzungu bonna nga bibadde bikalubirizaamu, osobola ogenda ku TikTok eyo ne weeyongera okwennyonnyoka zino zonna priorities mu lulimi Oluganda. Neeyanziza nnyo neeyanziza.
kyakyembadde njagala okugattako nti akakiiko kagenda kubeerako abakulembeze b'ennono abamu manyi nti mbadde mukikutte kikula nnenge naye. That said, I know some of you have been enjoying the presentations, but we are about to come to an end. I know that some of you have been enjoying the presentations, but we are about to come to our end. We have only 3 that are left. We will present those quite quickly, and then we recognize that time has been fast spent. We don't want to keep you here. We have told you the new government, we want people to work, to use their talents, to develop our nation. So we want to give you also time to prepare yourselves for the new government. That said, I'm going to welcome our next member, Council Sasi Marvin, to talk about how we are going to position our country to the diaspora. He's also going to speak to how we are going to position our foreign policy outlook. Let me welcome Council Sasi Marvin to come and present in the next 5 minutes. Thank you.
Hi. So I rarely speak in public. I am I am still trying to catch my breath. I hope you can bear with me. I'm happy to see you here. My name is Sas Marvin. I think I've already been introduced. By show of hands, how many of you know a doctor called Mujimu David Sylvester? Or how many of you have you heard of a doctor called Mujimu David Sylvester? Okay, no one. So Dr. Mujimu is always a surgeon. He worked for 26 years in a country called Namibia. When he was approaching his retirement, the Namibian government blocked his bank accounts. They didn't just block his bank accounts, they took 6 billion Uganda shillings of his savings and they took them to their central bank. Dr. Mujimu sued everyone he could in Namibia, and he went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and he lost. In frustration, Dr. Mujimu gathered the little that he had left. He gathered his cars, there were about 3, 2 state-of-the-art Land Cruisers and a Toyota Fortuner. This is 2017, and he hit the road from Namibia to Uganda. He came by road. He came with his cars, and he came with hundreds of millions of cash. When he reached the border at Mutukula, he was arrested by a team of JAT and Ugandan police officers from Interpol. They arrested him from no man's land, took his money, about 300 million, and then now brought him up to a police post somewhere in Mutukula. They accused him of funding rebels fighting the Ugandan government. And after a while, they released him. They set him free on police bond. But the real thing that they wanted, the real reason why they arrested him was to take the money and the property. So in as much as they set him free, they held on to the cars, and of course they held on to the cash because formally and under the law, they had not taken the money. He went and complained to Professional Standards Unit, and eventually the charges against him of fighting the regime were found bogus, and they were dismissed. After some time, this whole ordeal traumatized him so much. He became a drug addict. When I say drugs, I really mean medical drugs. So he started abusing drugs, and they took him to Otalika Hospital. But after some time, he escaped from the hospital and went back to his home in the constituency of Honorable Serukenya. It was in Chikajo March in the Sawaga. So one random day in September 2018, Dr. Mujimu committed suicide. He left a suicide note that said he had committed suicide because of the stealing of his property by Ugandan police, and everything that he had gone through. Now, the story of Dr. Mujimu, I believe, is a story that many of our comrades in the diaspora find relatable. You, our comrades, are patriotic, you are hardworking, and you love your country. But you left Uganda because Uganda had stopped protecting and working for you. There is so much you can contribute to our country's development, but remain underutilized, you remain neglected by a regime that now sees you as enemies instead of seeing you as citizens with full and equal rights. You are abused and sometimes killed at work, but Uganda never intervenes for you. You can't renew your passports or get national IDs without hassle. You face endless bureaucracy when you try to invest back home. You cannot protect your property in Uganda because you're so far away. You are homesick. You miss your families. You miss your friends. You miss your relatives. You miss that smell of the soil when we've just had a downpour, when we've just had rain. Sorry. Some of you are on expired visas, especially in the Arab countries, but you cannot return home because, first of all, you can't afford the air ticket, and you also cannot afford the fines. You are doing jobs that you hate to death, but you continue doing them anyway because your life depends on them. You are enduring all the suffering because of poor leaders, but you cannot vote them out because you are too far away from Uganda. So you are basically excluded from the politics, from the life, from the economy, and from the decision-making of this very country to which you contribute about 5 trillion Uganda shillings every single year. Well, I am here to comfort you and let you know that the National Unity Platform sees your struggles. We feel your pain, and we are committed to ending that pain in the following terms. Number one, we shall ensure that you can vote in Uganda's elections no matter where you might be in the world. We shall remove all unnecessary limits to you acquiring dual citizenship. Number three, we shall grant automatic citizenship to any child under 18 years that's born to Ugandan parents in the diaspora. Our embassies shall process your passports and national IDs within 7 days of you applying for them. We shall facilitate the elderly, the distressed Ugandans abroad to return home. We shall also assist them to readjust to life in Uganda and settle in like they never left. We shall organize and fund annual culture trips for Ugandan children born in the diaspora to learn more about their culture and languages. We shall introduce what we've called, or what is called, diaspora bonds, through which you, our comrades in the diaspora, who are able and willing, shall lend money to the government with the guarantee that you will get it back with a fat interest. We shall run a digital investment center through which you will be able to register businesses, buy property, make other investments in Uganda right from your mobile phone. We shall operate a secure and digital land registry system and amend our land laws to make sure that you can buy, sell, or enforce your rights in land without stepping in Uganda. As for our skilled professionals, we shall facilitate your temporary or permanent return home and reserve for you employment opportunities in our public service. For Ugandans suffering in Arab countries, we shall have free embassy services to fight in your corner. In other words, we shall grant the diaspora, number one, your full political rights. Number two, the economic instruments you need to thrive. Number three, the legal protections you need to be safe and keep what you earn. Number four, we shall grant you a seat at the policy table deciding Uganda's future. I have read from cover to cover the manifestos of the two strongest opponents to our presidential candidate. This is exactly what those manifestos promise you. our comrades in the diaspora. These are the promises they make to you. So to back up our plan for the diaspora as part of our foreign policy, this is what we intend to do. Number one, we are going to withdraw all non-career diplomats from our embassies and replace them with competent professionals. Number two, we are going to renegotiate international agreements, prioritize the interests of Ugandans, while at the same time ensuring that these agreements still remain beneficial for our neighbors and to the international community. In short, we are going to turn Uganda into a country that works for all Ugandans and shows up for them no matter where they might be on this planet. We shall build a new Uganda where you will never again be raped, tortured, dehumanized, and forced into exile just because you hold a contrary political opinion. That Uganda, comrade, is very possible. When I visited Dubai in 2022, and I saw the transformation that desert had gone through, I concluded, me as a person, that any country can transform itself if it decides to. All it needs are leaders who are intentional and have the will to do what's right, no matter the cost. To transform Uganda, we just need political will. We don't need magic, we don't need miracles. And that political will now has a face. It has a name, and it has a heartbeat in the man seated right there. President Chagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. He knows what it means to rise from nothing and achieve everything. But he also knows what it means to risk everything, fighting in the hope that if he remains in that fight long enough, tomorrow will be a better day for everyone. So let us take a bet on this Moses of our time, a man who led himself from the struggles, from the trenches, from the ghettos of Kamocha, and turned himself into a global success story. Let us take a bet on President Chagulanyi and see if he won't lead our country into the mecca of freedom and opportunity that we all yearn for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Marvin. That was very clear. Some of you are wondering, he told you he has read other parties' manifestos. When he put up a piece of paper, you saw nothing. In case you're wondering, he's just saying that other parties have nothing for you who stay in the diaspora. Thank you so much, Councillor Marvin, once again. We only have 2 people left, and perhaps these are the very important points we need to listen to. We were deliberate when we saved the best for the last. So we are going to have Miss Natalie Maria Ledokoska. Some of you know Lewandowski, but it's a bit different. You just have to tilt it a little. Who is also a NEC member and one of our finest leaders from Eastern Uganda. Allow me to welcome her, present about the environment.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lawel. People power! Our power! Our power! People power! NUP! Everywhere! Kunga, Uganda, Kunga! I am by the names Maria Ledokwaska Natabi Kasukali Kabutembe okuva mbikado bye Butembe. Era omubaka agemye bendera ya Nupe Butembe mu Jinja district. Nendo okutwala omukisa guno okwebaza Mr. President n'okwisusayo Busoga webale no webalire irala kutulaga mukwano wasookereka gye bakuzaale budadaabo ebusoga webale ino baba. Today I'll be addressing priority area number 10, which talks about ensuring sustainable management of natural resources and climate resiliency. Mwidi bulungi nti tuli bagayiganga iwanga Uganda era President aidyenga abakobera nti ebyobutonde ebyobugayiga bye tulina bingi no abula obukulembeze bwe tulina n'obutali kubikozesa kimala kutuwegawaza ife abanansi. And that is where the problem is. Our problem is leadership leadership, our problem are not resources, because we are endowed in all ways. However, we also have a challenge of climate change. Climate change has affected our natural resources in various ways. I understand climate change is a global challenge. However, there are things leaders are doing to ensure that this climate change does not affect their people as badly as it is affecting us. Mwana mwidi ntena kudino tosobola ku planningira bya bulimi ng'osinziira ku maadi agali kutona ag'obwerere Katonda g'abanga atuwaire. Olina okuteekateeka mu ngeri ey'endawulo. Aye gavumenti enteviireeyo kutuwa bukugu obwo kuteekateeka bya bulimi byaife. N'ensonga lwaki ennaku dino endala ningi. People do not have food because of the food insecurity caused by the climate change okukyusa amaadi engeri gye gali kutonamu ate nga awo tuli kusinziira. You also know climate change is affecting our natural resources and land use, especially with the wetlands. You've seen how landslides have also affected our people, especially in the mountainous areas. And you know very well how climate change has also led to the degradation of our biggest resource, which are the fertile soils. You also know that climate change does not only affect our social well-being, or does not only affect the environmental well-being of our country, but it affects our infrastructure development. Mubutambula muboina kunga amadi gagwire wane Kampala mu kibuga kyaimwe kyemwete ekibuga. Amadi bwe gagwa gasibira wa mungudo mu butale edodo na sente damui wa musolo dedizimbye. Therefore it is also taking us back. Awatono tutaire sente okukola ko ebitontono byatuli kusasulira mu sente domui wa musolo era amadi gali kwongera okola ki okubyonona. Bw'olingirira n'ensansanya ya sente domui wa musolo eri kweyongera olwa climate change. Inti sawa ena mwida kubona di supplementary budget diri kuida mu parliament olwokuba waliwo disaster. Webuuza tuli muiwanga ki government ene tasobola kutyama ya planningira bulungi eiwanga lino omwaka mulamba. Tojja tukoba inti landslide iwe nga government gwetuwe sente eningi okulingirira ebintu by'emberi. You cannot forecast and mitigate such challenges and even include them in our budget. Ntandise nga ndibakuba. The problem of our country is not because we are under-resourced. The problem of this country is poor and bad leadership. And that is what the National Unity Platform is offering you through His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. An astute and agile leader. Ajo kweke nenye nsonga dino atadilingirire wala nga titusobola tituenda supplementary budget. Abulanga tudiplanningira mu bwire ebintu ebinaba bigwirewo. Ebyo tujja bikola tutya. Tujja kunonenkereza tutegeere buli climate change werigema okusobola okubonekanga tutegeera government kyerina okolawo nga kikaali kukola ki nga kikaali kubaawo era nga n'ekintu ekintu kyetujja kyetweta climate adaptation and mitigation mechanisms edendawulo era diri mu manifesto yaife enenungi imwe abaire bakaali gisoma tuliko batutya how are we going to adapt and mitigate the climate challenges we are facing. Ekisokera irala, we are going to strengthen international climate financing and partnership. Nga bwe mbakobye ekizibu kya climate change kiri global. Aye tutairewo mbeera ki nti tusobola okola n'abantu abamawanga agandi. Amawanga agandi galekera okutuwa esente olw'obugubuzi obuswise. Aye bwe tunaalaga nti esente d'abantu tudadikozesa bulungi. Ndibakoba nti mu climate change abantu baidda kupataneringa nife tusobola okubonekanga tukola ku bizibu ebiri kutuleetebwaku climate change. Ensonga ey'okubiri n'ensonga ey'oku adaptinga climate responsive budgeting framework. Eyo nekola etya kyembakobye nti twetaaga abakulembeze n'obukugu obujja okusoma embeera ng'ekaali kubaawo. Bwe tusoma embeera eyo ng'ekaali kubaawo, twaba ni pulaani ekendeeza ku mbeera eyo etya bw'ejja okugwa ku bantu, era twasobola n'okwinongola abantu ssente daibwe we tuli kujja nga tebali kudigubula bugubule. Ensonga ey'okusatu ni climate adaptation fund, sente edijja okuyamba omuntu wa buliido okusobola okwenganga enembeera eya climate change, oba amaadhi gano agali kugwa amangi, entoba zide bali ku floods ediri kuwamba n'endala eri kuido lwa climate change, era nga omwo tujja kubaamu ne sente ejja okuyambaku okwakisesinga amaadhi. Imwe abalimi, lwaki odaaga okulinda amaadhi Katonda gw'otayogera naye nti ayida kukuwa amaadhi enkyo ogalinde nga tigajja kwida, nga mulina president wa His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, ayidi nti mulina enanda Victoria, mulina enanda Kyoga, mulina omwiga Nairo, omusobola okuva amaadhi agajja okukola ki okufukirira ebirime byammwe n'ebintu bingi. Ayo olw'obwire kambireka aye mujje musome, please go and read this manifesto. Buli bw'ogisoma oba n'amaanyi g'erina gendi kwogeza wano ku muzindaalo. Kuba obona Uganda empyaka. Ensonga eyindi, twenda okutaawo emirimu gye tweta green jobs ni climate smart enterprises, nga bino tujja kusinziira mu bintu nga renewable energies. Obuzibu climate change eno bwe buli kuvanga n'okuba nga tuli kukozesa bubi obutonde bwaife. Bane emiti tukimazeewo gyonna tuli kujja mu manda. Aye president waife yatukolye bw'anaafuuka president ati amasanalaze gajja kuba ga 5. Oyida kuba weetaaga ki okujja okugulwa amanda gajja kuba gakuyamba ki ng'amasanalaze ga 5 oyida kufumbiranga kuki ku masanalaze. Aye ate waliwo n'ebintu twetanga solar energy. Akasana kano katwokyera bwereere nga tituli kukakozesa kutoolamu maanyi gajja kutuyamba kufumba nakukola nakumulisa mayumba gaife. Lwaki tusula mu nzikiza ng'emisana tuba n'akasana akanje oti ni kano. Ensonga eyindi, mbaire mu Kiddi nti eyo Karamoja awazira amasanalaze wali yempewo gye tusobola okufuula amasanalaze. Mubaire timukindi kuba gavumenti eno yabawudiisa yabalimba nti byona byona ebikozeekoze etya ebimazeeyo. Aye ekyo abantu be Karamoja olulimi tulutegeera bulungi, but I'm just saying the people of Karamoja, the President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and his government is going to turn the wind that disturbs you into electricity to light your houses and give you electricity to cook and do all other things. Etisemberayo erala nga n'ensonga ey'okubonekanga tugema ku bintu ebidde okwiza obutonde bwaife okubuwa amaanyi tusobole okubonekanga obutonde obwate bututaasa ebizibu bye tutasoboire kwetegekera. Bana kino ekintu maliriza nga mbakoba ekintu kirala. Bino ebintu bye tuli kusoma n'okuwandiika byona byona birungi. Aye tibidda kubaawo bwe mubanga timutwegayiseeko okubita mu kalulu okwekalakaasa akalulu okwekandayiza nga tukobe kimala kimala mutwegayiseeko abannayuganda mwena ab'enda enkyukakyuka tujje tulonde tuzimbe Uganda empyaka nga tutiikinga manvuuli buli weeri. Komanda asooka ni His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, era mbasaba awo tiiki ebe ng'eri very clear. Katonda abankuumire era abampeere omukisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm not going to add anything. Ekyo kibadde kitegerekeka kyayogedde. Naye lwakuba waliwo mu gavumenti eno ebigwa bitalaze ebisinga biba bisoose kulaga naye just baagala biraba. Thank you so much. I told you we are saving the best also at the last. I am left with only one person who is going to present. However, after that person, we have an artist who I'm not going to talk about now. And after that, we shall have Commander 001, the next president, the person going to implement all this. That said, allow me welcome the last person. She's going to talk about technology. Uganda and allow me to introduce Precious, the last person, to talk about a tech-driven economy. Thank you.
People power. Our power. People power. I know you're a little bit tired, but bear with me. People power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. NUP. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the energy we need to enter the new Uganda. Otherwise, we are stuck. So, I'm not a good speaker, and I have a challenge that I'm going to speak after someone with a lot of energy. So, I hope I can keep up. So, abantu banje bambarira mwasira mutabasebo na banyabo. Nanati na baida won kuja ngundu honyenka konka ntirebu katorho bingi. People power. Our power. People power. So, I'm a true Ugandan. You're going to wonder why my name is Nalinya. Kuba ni mchala Mombeja. Nengenda kogera olunyankole. Nze Nalinya Precious Julian. Na atendi ngenda kwogera mu lunyankole ebintu ebisinga kubanga nze ndi muna Uganda omutuufu. Kitegeeza ki ntumulekeraawo okutwawula yawula ffe tuli bana Uganda nkimanyisa mutuli abanya Uganda. Mwakitenge ekyo? So today ninza kuba ningamba priority 11 eya technology. Ninchimanya hatulina bana bingi abakozesa omutimbagano. Do we have TikTokers around? All of us. And I'm sure all of you are holding your phones. So this government understands that we are in the 21st century and understands that we are a young generation. So Ugandans cannot afford to be left behind in this technology era. Ekyo nkimanyisa government yakyagulanye tekuza kusiga muntu w'enenyuma. Nechibamuti nekwasa technology, so etire priority ya mani technology. Priority 11 is transforming Uganda into a tech-driven economy through technology and innovation. Why is this priority important? According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, trade lowers costs, creates jobs, expands markets, yet 30% of Africans actively participate in digital trade compared to 50% in Asia. Uganda's ICT only accounted for 0.5% of the annual of the total annual exports. Also, our internet costs about $2.6 per gigabyte, and it is the highest in the region. When you compare with other regions around us, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, our internet is the most expensive. What does this mean? It means we are not lacking potential. It means we are just limited by high internet costs, limited digital literacy, and weak policy frameworks for which, if we are to compete regionally and globally, these issues must be addressed. And the NUP government understood the assignment. One, we are going to talk about digital infrastructure and connectivity. The NUP government will halve the cost of internet within 5 years by reducing data taxes, investing in regional internet, and will expand affordable broadband internet to every sub-region, prioritizing schools, healthcare, and trading centers so that no community is left behind. Echinchimanyisa ki nupe lyona ekira nkutulalonde president witu kutulateeka government ensya ombuyinza nkimanyisa nibakutucendereza omyaka 5 kubanza nibakucendereza internet by half. Nkimanyisa wano ogula data yawe wano tugula aha shinji 5 n'okutandika kugigula aha shinji 25. Nkyo kikumanyisa. Education and skilling development. To build a digital country, we must build a digital citizen. Nkimanyisa ki wano oyenda kukozesa technology oyina okwegesa abantu okuba bagikozesa.
Nup government yatugira ngo ne kwata buri shomero no bya witkuria akweruka yombarra no kubatera yo computer labs tuchikuza kwetagisa kuruga mbarra kwisha kwega kubibera amashomero munubegesa computer. No government is saying you are going to have good equipped computer laboratories in your regions. Let's talk about health. The new government will transform healthcare delivery. It will roll out a national e-health system that includes electronic recording, telemedicine services, digital drug tracking to improve efficiency and access. Health workers will be trained in digital diagnostics and patients management, while data analytics will be used for epidemic preparedness, disease surveillance, targeted interventions, and this will ensure that quality health care reaches every corner. Ekintumanyisa ng'orwire wargo wanyu mbwarga owanyu bushenyi wisha Kampala nuperiyo nekira mutosa kutandika kutambula na basa z'empapurezi no nekora system ngwisha n'obwire bwawe nobogamba amazina gawe notayo ID yawe nubamanya obwire obukushasha kandi ng'omwana okuyagira ngo ebizibu bije egavumenti bye kureta aha obebukwisha n'abantu bamanya konka bayikoze kabatakubimanya. So we are saying this data will help us to prepare and know mbo abantu bambarra bagwire munongo mushusha tubakorrect just okwebuzabuza ngo abatakukimanya. Agriculture. Of course, we all understand that agriculture remains the backbone of Uganda's economy, and technology can make it smarter and more productive. It will create a national digital agricultural platform that provides farmers with real-time weather updates, market prices, and extension services. The previous speaker talked about the uncertainty of weather, that we can't tell when it's going to rain or when it's not going to rain. But the new government is saying, no, our dear farmers, with technology, we can tell you when it's going to rain, when it's going to shine, and we can actually tell you that you can take your things in a certain market. Nchimanyisa ngutokuza kubasa kutokuza kulinda mshana kwaka obenshira kugwa for you to plant. No, nibakuhereza service asumu yawe kugambira ngomanya amatega awe no gatwaro mukatari kanaka ekintu zakuza hariya. So they are going to make our lives easy. Then governance and public service, digital transformation also must reach the government itself. We will digitalize key public services, including licenses, land titles, taxes, health records, improve efficiency and accountability. And of course, we will have an e-procurement system that will be introduced to curb corruption and save public funds. Muchimanya ababibe Uganda babira nnyo ku kino. Nogenda okufuna ID ne bakusaba sente empitirivu, nogenda okunoonya land title yo nga tomanyi weeri. So no government is saying, no, we're going to put these things very much available to you and near to you through technology. Ng'omuntu tateekeddwa kujjako nguzi okumanya details z'ekibanja kyo oba land title yo woweeri. Then we talk about economy and innovation. To expand digital access, we will cut taxes on smartphones, computers, internet devices, and then of course there will no promises to fund small startups in agribusiness. Of course, this is important for those who are worried that they are removing. I heard rumors on internet in terms of that internet and Amora is there. For those who know me, there was a rumor saying Nup wants to scrap off what is this thing Mzee is hawking these days. PDM, yes. And so don't get worried. The NUP is saying we are going to create a fund for agribusinesses, for the youth who have small businesses to start up, not to give money to some random person who eats the money and then random people are paraded as though they were funded. Last but not least, of course, as we talk about digitalization, it is important to talk about the national security and digital rights. The NUP government promises to expand digital opportunities. We will also make sure digital safety. NUP will strengthen cybersecurity capacities to combat fraud, hacking, online crimes, and of course teach enforcement and judiciary, enforcement and the judiciary will be trained to handle crimes cases effectively. We also run public campaigns and data protection, because we know recently there was a saga, an investigation that was conducted by BBC about human trafficking, and this criminal had access to our data, and everyone kept asking the same question: how did this criminal have access to our NIRA data? Because he gets all the information from NIRA. And of course, as usual, this question was never answered. But the new government is saying, we are going to protect your data, we are going to protect you from hackers, we are going to protect you from online harassment and anything in between. How will this be done? They intend How will this be done? Of course, they don't want to silence dissent, but they want to ensure it remains free and safe and productive, because this is important. We know the young Ugandans are earning off the internet, but somehow the dictator, who is of course not the 21st century leader, is stuck in the 18th. I don't know if it is the 16th. Thinks that it is okay to take off Facebook, which was feeding people are connecting, and of course we live in a global village, so this is very important that we connect. So in conclusion, a tech-driven Uganda is a dream. It is a deliberate and achievable voice. A Uganda where a farmer can check prices on their phone, a patient consults a doctor online, a student learns coding in their rural areas, and a person earns global income in their village. Under the new Uganda now, technology will not just be a tool, but it will be an engine, transformation, opportunity, prosperity, and together let us push Uganda into the digital future. People power. Our power. People power. Thank you so much for listening to me. Abantu bambadra numayecho kukola abantu bantungamo Western people omurumo twine gumwe gonka. For so many years nbagira ngwito turije konka ina churches turukubi. So turijire twajya mu turukubi president nitwe turiye nyuma yawe.
Thank you so much. Precious, I think that was elaborate. Maybe what you need to take home from what she has said is that the cost of internet is going to be low, which means uwaga kubera ku TikTok toina kwewola sente olabe ku manifesto and parking je tubaddeko wano kuba internet mwaka kaseera egenda kubanga osolo see a bay. And I think what I want to add is that one of the controversial things that have come from that manifesto point is that we shall deliver medicine where you are. And often these things seem ambitious, but when you just cross to Rwanda, we have programs where drones can deliver medicine. You don't have to go through traffic to access that medicine. I think what you're also saying is that if we can expand internet connectivity, because once you step out of Kampala and go to neighboring districts, but if we can do that, it means that we give you an opportunity to innovate and to do all these other things. But also I think there's a lot of willingness that people want to invest in young tech ideas. If we can pacify this country, make internet easy, a lot of investment will come in. So we have come to the end of the presentation. On the areas, I will ask each of us to clap for our able panel. If anyone tells you that they have not understood the NUP manifesto, either they were not paying attention today or they don't want to read. And like the lawyers always say, ignorance is not a replacement of absence of facts, so ignorance is not defense. So anyone who says that they don't believe that a new Uganda will fundamentally change this country we be lying. And we are not talking about fundamental failure. There are people who have used that word and it no longer makes sense. The only evidence we have is that people now think things can't change fundamentally. But we have guaranteed you today and we have showed you what is in it for you. So before we have an artist, I will ask each of us to humble ourselves. We have colleagues who have been imprisoned. We know them now as political prisoners. One of them wrote a letter to us, and he said we need to pass on his communication. So I will ask each of us to pay attention and listen to what he has to say. He's called Muyodi Hamidu. On 2nd October 2025, he wrote this letter, and this is what he says. Greetings to all Ugandan masses, foot soldiers. I write this from Luzira Upper Prison. He says, we take this opportunity to send our message to all foot soldiers across the country. First of all, we thank our President, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Robert Ssentamu Bobi Wine, for always standing with us in all situations. In all situations we go through, and we do thank all our leaders who visit us in prisons. We kindly thank those who help our families and always attend our court trials. We really appreciate you for the courage that you give us. A message to all foot soldiers. We are in prison, but we have no hope that we can join you in person. We do move in. We have our hope in you. We respect you, brothers and sisters. We are praying for you in this campaign struggle. We are updated in all campaign areas that you go through, and our flag bearers of national unity platform across the country. We request you to please do whatever you can to bring justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity in Uganda. As we continue with this restarted, re-empowered, and recharged struggle for a new and a better Uganda, we join Mr. President, His Excellency Bobi Wine, by reminding you always remain focused, be sober, protect each other from a dictator, and let Ugandans be mindful of brothers and sisters who lost their lives in this struggle. Think of us who are in prison. Think of those who are still missing and are in exile. Because of this struggle, please don't give up to fight against the dictator and his government. We remind you that we are struggling for freedom, against dictatorship, against poverty, unemployment, injustice, corruption, and embezzlement. Hence, restoring a new Uganda. Let's avoid bribes, gifts, and obstruction from our enemies. Please, love each other and stop using your fellow comrades for individual gains to our enemies. Please be strong to fight the autocratic government. We are smelling change, but the change can only come from working hard. And we can't change the past, but we can change the future. So let's work hard in the campaign. We wish you a blessed journey in these campaigns. Remember that every word in this campaign means war. May Allah give you courage and strength to overthrow the autocratic government. May Allah give you the gift of knowledge and make the best decision for this country, Uganda. And he says, people power, people power, let's fight for a new Uganda. He shares this message to everyone, and please translate it in different languages countrywide. He says he thanks you, Muyodi Hamidu, political prisoner from Luzira Upper Prison. Muyodi speaks for all the people that have been in prison for just sticking to their conscience and failing to give in to this government which seeks to deprive them of a conscience which is supposed to be a God-given right that they can exercise. Having said that, I'm going to welcome an artist who of us have known. His name is Siwine Narukalala.
NUP! Only people know this is Siwine Narukalala. All the massive! Come on! Send it with me! Rastafari! See? No matter what the tribulation, no give up. No matter what the situation, No matter what kind of tension, no matter when you depend detention, no matter what the tribulation, no matter what the situation, no matter what kind of tension, well, no matter when you depend detention, every man starts from one, just to make it up to be number one. Hey, them start from zero, when they see them till zero. You cannot say that I'm not gonna make it up. They shall me and tell me that me have to mash it up. Revo, NUP, everywhere, people power, power, people power. You know you saw what the twin and the baba. Mukama wange okulembera olutabaalo luno tetulina ssaawa ndala. Yeno yokka mukama wange, yeno yokka ssebo. Yo kata kayimba kama abavubuka bakayita muvubuka oli mubi. You see me? Rhythm selector David. So listen to me carefully, all the youths. Muvubuka oli mubi kakulemye kolala boli mubi abakusinga ko bazala yelo bala babubi bakatirya kakulimba limba toli mubi nayo li mubi. Muvubuka oli mubi kakulemye kolala boli mubi abakusinga ko bazala yelo bala babubi bakatirya kakulimba limba toli mubi. You know bad but you bad mind. Mungina digeto amasma bantu kemize chokati bachikowa. You cannot sit and you wakola kweba bichawa utakomye mizecha amasma bantu bakukwata kulawa sentaimu kotabula tabula bantu atelo salawa bantu kotulukunya abantu atelo nyagulula abantu chechikusa abantu abatalina musango matu chokola bankusomera murwatu muvubuka oli mubi kakulemye kolala boli mubi abakusinga ko bazala yelo bala babubi bakatulya kakulimba limba toli mubi nayo li mubi. Muvubuka oli mubi kakulemye kolala boli mubi abakusinga ko bazala yelo bala bakatulya kakulimba limba toli mubi. Listen to me again. Dongena digeto amasna bantu bemize chokati bachikowa. You cannot sit and you wakola kweba bichawa utakomye mizecha amasna bantu bakukwata kulawa sometimes bakuchawa kotabula bantu atelo salawa bantu kotulugunya abantu atelo nyagulula abantu chachikusa abantu abatalina musango bantu chokola bakusomera level NUP everywhere. Tetulina ssaawa ndala kyenyiza okubagamba. Tetulina ki? Eno ye ki? Eno ye ssaawa obusajja bugenda baba.
Webale nnyo nalokalala. Eno ye ssaawa. Maybe what I want to say is that in the National New Platform, we are very spiritual as well. We believe in God, we believe in Allah, and He's the one who has brought us this far, and He's going to be with us in Uganda. Allow me welcome, I like her so much, allow me welcome Honorable Namboze to give us a scripture before we can listen to our President. Thank you.
People power, our power. We were in your civil president. Obusajja katabundiye wenna kwezi mukama wange naye nga bwomanyi kitatafa okujjako nga firimu egenda kuggwa. Mukama wange president tiimu gye ndabye wano nebaziza Katonda. Ndabye abaana wano abateeka ensonga mu ddiiro ate ng'olaba bazitegeera. President nekusanyukirako nnyo n'eri bannayuganda nemanya nti tiimu eyokola omulimu w'eri. Yesu Kristo naye bwe yajja mu nsi muno n'asuubiza ensi empya. Kati bwe yasuubiza ensi empya nabali ne bagyesunga. Olunaku lumu gamba munaakulinaanye nti olunaku lumu Yesu yali atuddawo ng'ava babuulira ebigambo ebikulu ebirungi ebinaabeera mu nsi ki empya. ati engeri Yesu lyeje yagenda awo osobola otunuulirawo Kyagulanyi nga bamaze obbatabbira ebigambo ebingi bwe bityo nga byonna byansi ki bayibuli egamba bweti. Nsomye mu Matayo essula 24 okutandikira ku linnya olwokusatu. Yesu bwe yali ng'atudde ku lusozi lw'emiti emizayituuni, abayigirizwa ne bajja waali mu kyama ne bagamba nti tubuulire ebyo biribaawo ddi era kabonero kyakalaga okujja kw'ensi eyo. Yesu n'addamu nti mwerinde waleme kubaawo bababuzaabuza, kubanga bangi balijja nga bayita nga beeyita nti Yesu naye baliba bababuzaabuza. Muliwulira entalo wano nawali, mwerinde kweraliikirira. Ebyo biteekwa okubaawo naye ekiseera kiriba kitandika butandisi. Eggwanga erimu lirumba eggwanga eddala, n'obwakabaka bulirumba obwakabaka. Walibaawo enjala n'okkankana kw'ensi mu bitundu bingi, naye olwo okubonaabona kuliba kutandika butandisi. Mmwe bali bakwata ne bababaayo ne mubonyaabonyezebwa, era n'abamu ku mmwe mulittibwa. Abantu bonna balikyawa mmwe olw'okuba muli bagoberezi b'oyo. Olwo bangi ne baliterebuka. Walibaawo n'ababalyamu enkwe era bali bakyawaganya, n'abalanzi ab'obulimba balirabika ne baba babuzaabuza olw'obujeemu okuyinga obungi. Okwagala kw'abamu kuliwola, naye oyo aligumizibwa okutuusa ku nkomerero yalirokolebwa. Era amawulire amalungi agafa ku bwakabaka galitegeezebwa abantu mu nsi yonna okuba obujulirwa eri amawanga gonna, olwo ensi eyo n'eryoka etuuka. Mukama yeebazibwe.
All the things have been said. Eyo prayer kyetulaze nti obubonero bwonna weebuli. Ekibuuzo kiri nti tuli ready? Twetegese? At this point in time, allow me welcome, and I may not get this opportunity when the government starts. But before we welcome the president, let us have another artist to set the stage for the ultimate president of this country. Thank you.
Tuli ba Bobi, yabatukola kasasi wansi mu bigere. Tuli ba Bobi, yabatukola pia kaso tudule. Tuli ba Bobi, yabatukola kasasi wansi mu bigere. Tuli ba Bobi, wakati. Sama ejitu wasingeko. Jaku wetere ajituleko. Babusela mani kaba wedeko. bweritandisa okulokolwa enkofe zose tulina kyali wasazeewo okuziwonya yeruma n'olulimi juzi lwenavulaba ng'abalungi bagwayo mu mitekumi omutogo singakuba munamagezi agatulekawo ne mukoma mazika ge mutukaliza Bobi agasabula omwagala nabo n'olukukwatakoteromona lazima ngendera ddala ne wabatambisa nti gwe nayagala katulondesa amaanyi tubasingako sakuwa nabe yazituuleko bamusinya amaanyi gabaweddeko katulondesa amaanyi tubasingako sakuwa nabe guys, people power, our power, NUP everywhere. Uganda wange chikolete walika
abasinga nsubira kapise kano abasinga mutera nnyo tulaba ne gayono bambuza ekibuuzo muddamu nti Kyagulanyi
oba tukakolemuko katukakolemu omukulembeze waffe bambi omulundi okusembayo kakati fugozi gye baleko
kale nawe gye
juzi president wa America yali ali kulaale
Kyagulanyi yabadde kulaliza Uganda era yaliko
anti byaba America
teka kati America nze ndi mu America tuli wano mu Uganda bless
mwebale nnyo, thank you so much. I want to tell you guys that where we have come from as a country is very bad. We have all suffered. We all have the robots that Sasi was talking about. We all have siblings who can't find jobs. We all have friends who have been arrested for the last 5 years for just speaking the truth. But the good news is this is all coming to an end under the new government, under the leadership of His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi. Allow me to take this opportunity, therefore, invite our able President, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi, to address. Thank you.
People power! Our power! NUP!
Everywhere!
And everywhere!
NUP!
Even here!
NUP! NUP! NUP!
Thank you very much. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I salute you, ladies and gentlemen, and please bear with us. I know that this function has taken a little longer. Njagala okwebaza Musumba Namboze olw'ekyawandiikibwa ekyakuwadde. Mulabenna ab'emukono musibye mutya nno nze mbeeguya. Thank you very much for that word. I want to salute my fellow artist, Figo and your friend. I want to salute another revolutionary artist, Siwa Narukalala. Man, you're bad. Many times I feel glad to share the wine name with you. Very talented young man. You remind me of Buju Banton. You remind me of Bob Marley. You remind me of Sizzla Kalonji. You remind me of Capleton. All those artists that many of us grew up watching and aspiring to be like, believed in one common thing: equal rights and justice. They believed in freedom for all people, especially the black people, the African people. So if you see a Rasta man posing around with dreadlocks but not believing in equal rights and justice, that is not Rasta, that is rascalat. So I salute you, my brother.
kikulu nnyo abavubuka omuntu ababulirira ne bawulira yoyo omuvubuka ngabbo yoyo ayise waje bayise webale bajjukiza nti okubeera omuntu omubi tekikufuula wakabi. Milako, you put it straight that bad man and bad man is two different things. Can't mix and mingle the two of them. So thank you very much. Appreciate you. Hey, Magala. I also want to appreciate the drama team from the School of Leadership for the skit that you presented here. Thank you very much. In this our struggle, music, dance, and drama will always carry a center stage. It has been music, dance, and drama, creativity, and poetry. It's been art that has liberated people right from the days of slavery, through colonialism, through dictatorship. And it's what's going to carry us through. So we salute that area. We salute you, Comrade Nobiandi, Selector Devi, namwe abakwataganya area yo mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala. I also want to sympathize with Dr. Nalokwago. Dr. Nalokwago, we listen to you. Tukusaziranga balaba n'ennumba. Dr. Nalokwago badda tubulira nti ennumba zaamulumira mu ddwaliro eri omu kyalo ng'agenze mu toilet. Walaba nnyo munnaye nzimanya ennumba nezaali zinumyeko nze zannumira nno ku muti gwa muyembe zannuma ku liiso ne mala wiiki namba nga linnuma naye kati gwe nkubamu akafaananyi oba zaakulumyewa. Naye tukusabira munnange batulowooza zaakulumye before oba after nebyo tubiveeko tuli mu nsonga ziri serious leero. I want to salute the comrades that have presented today. Our Comrade Awel, the young man, the intelligent young man that you are, and the way you present it gives me hope, gives me confidence that the young people of this generation are actually seeing through the curtain that has been put before our eyes. They're seeing the future. They're seeing the promised land. They're seeing the new Uganda. I want to appreciate the policy team that has been able to clearly paint a picture for us. Very eloquent young men and women, very passionate young men and women, very imaginative young men and women. At least we are able to see the Uganda we want, the Uganda we're aspiring for, and indeed the Uganda that we must achieve. I have no doubt that the picture of that new country is now clearer. We see where we want to go. We are not just what Mao loves to call Agende. Yes, we are Agende. Kuba ino Genda. He is the roadblock between us and our future. But we've said it before and I want to reassert it again. That we are not only fighting to liberate ourselves, we are fighting to carry ourselves beyond liberation. We are fighting to be able to paint our own destiny. And I'm very glad that for these 2 or 3 hours, these young people have been they've been able to clearly paint a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not my ideas as an individual. No, these are ideas of numerous young men and women. These are ideas of the young generation, young Ugandans from across Uganda. Look at them. From the north to the west, to the east, to the south and central. This is Uganda summarized. These ideals and ideas, they represent all of us. They represent both our pain and our aspiration. They represent the aspirations of a new generation. These thoughts and presentations, ladies and gentlemen, they represent a generation that refuses to be defined by the fear and the hate and the hopelessness that has been imposed on us. Fear has been imposed on us. We fear each other. Hate has been imposed on us. We've been taught to hate each other. Conditioned to feel helplessness, to feel helpless, to believe that we can't go past here. Thank you very much. my brothers and sisters, for making it clear that we have a future that is tangible, a future that we see, a future that we are going to achieve. And I also want to add my voice on yours in the affirmative that we are indeed going to build a new country for ourselves and our children. We are going to build that country for ourselves, by ourselves. I might be the one leading, and I've told you this before, that I don't present myself to lead this struggle, this charge for a new Uganda, because I'm the most educated or most qualified. I present myself because it is a calling, just like every one of you. But nothing gives me confidence to see that behind me there's quality. Behind me, the young men and women, each one of them is very qualified, very knowledgeable, well-traveled, passionate about a new Uganda. We have young doctors here, we have young lawyers here, we have journalists, we have people from all walks of life. And yes, we, like myself and Nubiani, who are artists. We have people like Eddie Mutwe. We have people like Zambari. Zambari of Mukono. So it is possible, ladies and gentlemen. I have no doubt that it's possible. But I was moved even deeper by the presentation of Maria Ledochos Kanatabi, who put it clearly that these are just dreams. Brothers and sisters, these are but just dreams. This is but just an imagination, a dream that we can either achieve but also can fail to achieve. This is a dream that we can get, but this is a dream that we can also fail to achieve and keep dreaming about it if we don't take the necessary steps. Over a few years ago, I've learned that in life you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate for. In fact, you get what you fight for, not what you deserve. But brothers and sisters, again, I want to tell you that what we deserve, what you deserve, is worth fighting for. Yes, it does. What do we have to do then? Let's do the necessary. Step number one, start by magnifying this, by amplifying this. I like that this has been presented precisely, but clearly. It's right here. This is what we want to bring to Uganda. When we say Museveni agende kubalemezaawo bino. What you have to do as a citizen, number one, is to help further paint this picture to all and sundry. Anybody that you get close to, let them understand that we are past the mobilization area. We are in the sensitization and making sure that everybody gets us clearly. Understand what we are fighting for. Understand what we are risking for. Explain it to your friends, to your family, to your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband. Explain it to your friends. Explain it whenever you have an opportunity. To you, our leaders, especially those that are running to office. And I like that the skit made it very clear. Don't promise people rice, because we are not going to give rice in the new Uganda. Promise what we are going to give as a government. In the new government, you're going to be serving under the National Unity Platform. And this that I'm promising, you are going to be responsible to deliver to your constituents. This is going to be government policy, and all leaders are going to be charged to deliver this. So explain it to people so that people know exactly what to demand from you when we are in power. Make it clear. Make our manifesto your talking points when you go to speak. Don't promise people waraji. Let's be different from those that we are fighting against. And further, we request you to simplify it even more in your languages. Make it understandable. Simplify it further. Those of you that are on social media, please help us share these on your social media handles. We've been saying that that phone is a very powerful tool. Please lend it to Uganda. Lend your TikTok account to Uganda, your Facebook account, your Twitter account, all platforms that you can. Show people what Uganda can achieve. Even if you don't support the NUP or the NUP candidate, at least let every young Ugandan understand what Uganda can turn into. And then we can decide who takes us there. I've already shown you that me, I have the law to take you there. But at least let us first understand where we want to go as a country. Let's understand the kind of country that we want. And then we will find the courage to take the first, second, and more steps towards that Uganda that we want to get to. So help us, push it. I know we have different talents. Those that can animate it. Break it down, simplify it. Let even a young child of 5-6 years understand the kind of country that we want, because we are not going to stop. I told you a few weeks ago that we are not going to wait to celebrate when we get there. We shall celebrate along the way. Even knowledge of what we want to achieve is victory enough. Let us celebrate it and then keep moving towards it. So break it down for those people. Make it understandable. Then another thing I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, organize, organize, organize. Send this message down to the common people. Build teams. Zitwaite gari. Build teams. Let them go door to door, not just asking for a vote, but painting a picture of what people are voting for. I want people to know what they are voting for. So organize. Go to your constituencies. You, the leaders, I really love your company on the campaign trail. But I request you to spend more time in your constituencies. Go there. Don't wait for me to come to your constituency with you. While we turn the nation upside down, turn your constituency upside down, and organize, organize, organize. Identify polling agents. Identify people who will help us at every step of this democratic revolution. Muzimbe gali zinywere. Also, while at it, please identify alternative means of communication. We all know the Museveni kind of election, and I'm sure he thinks that he is bringing his usual nonsense in this election. So, think ahead. We all know what these people are planning. Think ahead. You know they're going to switch off the network. You know they're going to switch off the internet. Plan ahead. Find alternative ways of communication so that we are in touch as a nation. We are entering a very critical phase of this revolution. So I charge you to go and find different ways. Sit down, burn the midnight candle. Form discussion groups. You never know. Maybe your small group might be the one that will develop the idea that will liberate us. So work together, build together, and let us do it, because I know we are going to do it. This, ladies and gentlemen, many people hear us. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We are going into a risky time, but we can choose to see it from two different perspectives. From one side, you can look at it as a risk. And from the other side, you can choose to look at it as an opportunity. So, Let's make the brave choices. Like I said, they hear us singing, when the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. What is that victor's crown? That is the one. Eyo yengule je tubagamba bulijjo. What they just explained here, eyo yengule je tuogerako bulijjo. The first 11 and more will come when the struggle is over, when we defeat General Museveni and his corrupt regime. So, ladies and gentlemen, in that new Uganda, make it clear to the people what they are voting for. They are not voting for Kyagulanyi, the individual. They are voting Kyagulanyi, who represents that. They are not voting for NUP, the political party. They are voting for NUP, which represents that. That is exactly what they are voting for. Anybody that is taking the umbrella, that is what you are voting for. Anybody that is risking, that is what you're risking. Anybody that is fighting, that is exactly what you're fighting for. You're not fighting for money to be put in your pocket. You're fighting for a better country. Gladly, in that country, we look at you as leaders. So when you're going to prison, our brothers that are in prison, and many of us that might go to prison, that is what we are going to prison for. For those that will be tortured, even those that will be killed, that is what we are dying for. And I have good news, my brothers and sisters. Whether you are fighting, that is worth fighting for. Whether you're going to prison, it is worth going to prison for. Even dying, this is worth dying for. Because we are doing this for our children and our children's children. We are doing it because the alternative is slavery. And me as an individual, and I believe all of you, or most of you, would rather die than be slaves on the land of your forefathers and foremothers. I can guarantee you that at the end of this, your children will be in charge of their country. They will be able to paint their own destiny. These young men and women, and all those among you, this is a young Uganda. It's a new Uganda, a young Uganda, a brilliant Uganda, a progressive Uganda, a successful Uganda. A Uganda that is not a laughing stock among nations. That is a Uganda that we are going to get, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate those that are already involved, especially those that we are moving with on the campaign trail, and those that are moving, those that are working on social media, those in the diaspora that save their working hours to work for Uganda, to send a message for Uganda. You're doing a tremendous job. We really, really appreciate you. I want to appreciate our comrades, especially the foot soldiers, for the discipline. Please clap for yourself. The discipline that you're exercising on your own selves, and the discipline that you're exercising on the road. Many times I look behind and I feel so proud of the team that we're working for. So disciplined on the road, so kind to the people that come to us, so protective of those that come to support us, the vulnerable people, the women and children. Thank you very, very much. Once more, I want to again request you to look out for our people. Like I said, on this trail you won't be protecting me, but each other and those that come to support us. Please continue protecting them. We have not seen many cases of thugs stealing phones from our supporters. I've told you this before, that the regime had an effort of planting thugs among us so they can spoil our name. It is our duty to protect our people, and we shall do a good job protecting our people. I warned the criminals, I warned them, I want to warn them again. Temokola era, nemoloza ntimujja mufe kuba bantu bafe, kuba baboyi mujja kutya. So with those, I want to conclude by appreciating those that have been funding us and those that have been funding our comrades, our foot soldiers. Thank you very much. Thank you for keeping us going. But I must also remind you, and this Honorable Balimwezo whispered to me, Ekyamazima tukyetaagayo ku ssente. Yes, we need more support, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need to remind you of what the regime is doing to stifle us, to impoverish us, to cut our speed. We are moving regardless, but we request you not to stop supporting us. I want to confirm to you, ladies and gentlemen, that we are not going to give up. And you cannot defeat people that don't give up, especially when they are younger than you. We are younger than the Museveni regime. We are bolder than them. We are more determined, and we shall not give up. I can guarantee you that in the end, everything will be all right. And if everything is not all right, then it will not be the end. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Ngeri omusana gye gwako ennyo ne bwesibiza mu Luganda. Ab'emukono bangambye mbizeeko ne mu Luganda. Basebo ne bannyabo, tusiima nnyo ttiimu yaffe eya polisi, abaami n'abakyala ab'emyaka emito naye nga bagezi nnyo ate nga baagala nnyo ensi yaabwe. Tubeebaza nnyo olw'okutusigira ekifaananyi ekya Uganda empya. Nkakasa kati bantu batono nnyo kabe kasinge nga tebalinawo abatategeera kirooto kya Uganda empya. Kati ffenna tumanyi kye tuyayaanira, tumanyi exactly kye twagala okuteekawo. Tuli basanyufu nnyo ti abantu abatutotoledde abatemeetemye mu bisuubizo byaffe bya Uganda empya bava mu bitundu bya Uganda byonna. Eno kino ekifaananyi ekya Uganda, abava mambuka, abava ebuvanjuba ne bugwanjuba, abava Masekati ne Maserengeta, bonna bakiikirira ebirooto n'ebyayaanirwa eby'omugigi omuto ebya Uganda empya, Uganda ejjudde amasanyu, Uganda gye tukakasa nti tulina okufuna mu bulamu bwaffe, Uganda gye tukakasa nti tulina okusala amagezi gonna tugifune omwaka ogujja mu kutema mu bigambo bitonotono mu myezi 3. Tubeebaza olw'ekifaananyi kye mutusiigidde, kubanga kyongedde okulaga nti ddala yeffe bali be bayogerako. Oba mwawulira Haji Hussein Kyanjobe yayogerangako generation ege yeffe, Kasire Gwanga be yabagamba nga yeffe, ne mu byawandiikibwa bonna mbozi byasomye yeffe twagaana okutuumibwa oba okuumibwa mu busibe oba obukyayi oba okutya n'oba obutaba na ssuubi. Ffe twasalawo ebiseera byaffe eby'omu maaso tubiteeke mu ngalo zaffe, ku lwaffe, ku lw'abazadde baffe, naye okusingira ddala ku lw'abaana baffe. Era nga tubakakasa ti ensi eyo tugenda gizimba baganda bange. Bino byonna bye mulabye ebimu bibadde mu Luzungu, ebirala mu Luganda, naye bijja kutuukawo. Neera nga mwannyinaffe Nattabire Dokyosika okuva e Busoga e Butembe bw'atugambye nti bino byonna bikyali birooto, bino byonna bikyali biteeberezo, lino lyonna ssuubi, bino birooto. Naye era njagala mmanye nti bino birooto bye tusobola era bye tukolerera okutuukako mu bbanga eritali lya wala. Naye nga bwe mukuba engalo zammwe, njagala mumanye nti era bino bye birooto bye tusobola okulemwa okutuukako. Tusobolera ddala okulemwa okubituukako singa tetukola kituufu. Ekituufu kye kiruwa? Ekituufu basebo ne bannyabo kwe kumanya nti mu bulamu tofuna ekyo ky'osaanidde kufuna. Nedda, ofuna ekyo ky'okayaniridde, kabe kasinga ekyo ky'olwaniridde. Yes. Tewali mirembe gye bagenda kuleetera waka ku soosiyo, bw'oba tuli mu matibu osaana okangule ku voisiyo, sigala ku koosiyo, era manya right zo. Tolema kolerera Uganda gwezimba ggwanga lyo, wadde nga boosiwo teyali wa choice yo, gwe baana ggwanga lyo, lino ggwanga lyo. Bannange, ekirooto kino tusobolera ddala okulemwa okukifuna singa tetukoze ekituufu. Eky'omukisa omulungi, ekituufu tukimanyi baganda bange. Era ekituufu nsaba tutandike okikola mbagirawo. Okusookera ddala mbasaba mwenna bannayuganda, si bakulembeze bokka, naye buli munnayuganda olifule katalali okufuna mulimu gwo okutemaatema manifesto eyo okutemaatema ebigendererwa bya NUP obinyonyole buli muntu gwosobola okutuukako tandikira ku bazadde bo odde ku mwagalwawo odde ku baana bo oba mikwano gyo ab'ekinywi kyo bokola nabo oba bonna bootuukako osobola okukikola mu buntu osobola n'okozesa social media yo mutuyambe mu kimaking clear abantu balabe kye balwanirira bw'oba omanyi kyolwanirira kizibu okussa omukono bw'oba olengera gy'olaga bannange kizibu okupondoka n'ogwamu amaanyi abantu mubalage gye tulaga bamanye nti tetuli kino mawo kyayagala okuyita nti abo bagamba just Museveni must go. Yes, Museveni must go, but after Museveni goes, our job will just have begun. Museveni mwana agenda omulimu gwaffe gujja kuba gwakatandika awo tutereze Uganda empya. So tubasaba mukinyonyola abantu namwe abali ku social media tuzenga tubasaba era twongera obasaba baganda bange buli agala ensi ye wakiri waayo video emu ba post emu obeda chika 10 buli lunaku kulw'eggwanga lyo mwabali mu Uganda n'abali ebweru wa Uganda tugezaako okuzimba ya Uganda empya ya buli omu era buli omu alina omulimu oyina abantu abakuwuliriza bayinza okuba 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, 1,000 bawe obubaka buno tuyambe okimenyemenye mu ngeri yo mu lulimi lwo mu style yo mu ngeri yo yonna omekinga sure nti abantu bakutegeera. Njagala okusinzira wano tulina omu ku baganda baffe omuyimbi Nakinku Honorable Walukagga. Njagala okusaba ssebo taliwo wano naye nkakasa gyali ampulira. Njagala kusaba ssebo manyi toyiya ne bayiya betwafirwa babasudde disi gwe twakusigaza nkusaba okoleyo n'akayimba akakodongo kamoti tebe Uganda empyanga bwegenda okuba nkulaba buli mwaka ng'otematema omwaka tematema Uganda empya n'abantu bewaffe nabo bamanye abantu bangi nnyo tebalaba bino abantu bangi nnyo tebawulira luzungu abantu bangi nnyo ne betwogera bibabowa naye bwe mubitematema mwe ba comedians mwe ba artists mutemeteme Uganda empya abantu balabe kye balwanirira abantu balekerawo ogamba balwanirira Kyagulanyi oba balwanira NUP bamanye kye balwanirira ne bw'aba tawagira NUP oba Kyagulanyi naye amanye nti alina kyalwanirira asobole okugeraageranya wa bwali na wa walaga awasalewo ayagala kusigala wano oba ayagala genda wali tukimenyemenye abantu batutegeere bulungi nnyo abakulembeze naddala abeesimbyewo temukyasobola kugamba nti temumanyi byagamba bantu temusubiza bantu katogo temukulira bantu mwenge temusubiza kuwa bantu sente abantu mwabapoloote nga mulina n'obujulizi mubalage kitwagala obbawa kyekino kyakabi okusinga bukyolo bwe babasaba ate nkakasa bajja bategeera awulidde bulungi so mumenyemenye manifesto yaffe buli wa NUP oba oli MP oba oli meya eno manifesto yo kwotandikira ebirala ebiri detailed muyongereza okwo naye abantu mubalage nti tugenda kola nga government tegenda kubeera ng'eneya Museveni ekunkumuka tugenda kolera wamu. This is going to be government policy. Eno egenda okuba enkola ya gavumenti betugenda okuluubirira era buli mukulembeze ku level yonna eyo enjiri gye tukusaba ogende owe abantu. Era njagala kusinzira wano n'obbasaba abakulembeze bannange nsanyuka nnyo nga tutambula ku campaign trail era temulekera okumperekera naye njagala obudde obusinga mu bumale mu constituency zammwe musisinkana abantu mubasaba akalulu ne temubasaba busabi kalulu mubalage gye tugenda mmwe wano temuli ba candidate kubanga bino si bya bulijjo mwe muli ba komanda balutabaalo muli baduumizi ate mmwe abakulu abatuuze abali eyo temulowooza nti olwokuba aliwo komanda ali politiko timwe temuli komanda nammwe twabo bawa muli bakomanda kati njagala bakwate nga tebalina gwe bakwata nga tebalina gwe bakwata bakwata ono nabayita mu nkwawa bwekyo bwe kiba kirina okubeera njagala obasaba abakulembeze bwe mugeze mu constituency zammwe muteeketeeke tiimu zammwe zibakubira campaign muzinnyonnyole. Nabadde eyo ku drive nendaba omwana ndowooza Honorable Hassan Kirumira yamuleese. Ali ludda oyo omwana. Omwana oyo mumpereyo omutwalo ojja gummanja. Nawulidde omwana ng'agenda annyonnyola ebintu. For a minute weebale nnyo ssebo weebalire ddala. For a minute nga simanyi nze ayogera naye ate nge mu mmotoka. So abaana bano abato bali amange wetulirewo naye bonja mulaba olayika tolinamu na mutwalo. So eyo yeba enjiri gye tubuulira ku zi drive zaffe ku mikolo gye mugenda buli wamu abantu tubalage ekifaananyi kye twagala ng'eggwanga. Understanding muzimbe eggaali ezo ze ziba zikola campaign zigende door to door, mugende door to door, obudde bukyaliwo mutuukirire buli muntu. Nfuba okulaba nga ntuuka kuli bantu kuba njagala tugende okulonda nga njogedde ne miliyoni ezitaka wansi wa 20 ez'abantu. Nawe njagala making sure wakiri 80% ku balonzi abeewammwe oyogedde nabo. So mugende mu connecting n'abantu bamanye ti bino bya ddala si byo ebyokulondalonda mubiri nga Museveni byabadde ng'amanyi. Era mukozese n'ekino ekiseera okwa-identifying aba polling agents abagenda okuuma akalulu kaffe tuleme kutuuka ku kiro ekiseera nga temubategeera. Kati mubeekennenye gw'olabamu ng'alimu ebitege teekawo omulala obudde bukyaliwo. Mweteeketeeke wano we tugenda we wali wennyini we baayogerako. Njagala n'okubasaba mufune engeri ez'enjawulo ez'okuwuliziganyaamu. Mukimanyi bulungi nnyo okulonda nga Museveni yakulembera eggwanga. Saagala tutandike kwekanga mbu intaneti bagigyeko badde tomanyi nti bagenda gijjako. Network bazigyeko badde tomanyi nti bagenda giteekako bagijjako. Kati mutandike kati agenda okusalako intaneti nga tumugamba twakulinda dde oluddeyo n'ogijjako. Mufune engeri ez'enjawulo ez'okukwataganamu. Mwetegekere kano akalulu. Tuyingira mu phase gye bayita eyakanayo kyani mu kano akalulu. Yes, igenda kuba yeeraliikiriza. Kuba wano we batandikira okusiba abantu. Waisu ali mukomera, Edi Muntu ali mukomera, Akirewa ali mukomera, Gaddafi ali mukomera, Bobi Yang ali mukomera, Smart ali mukomera, n'abalala. Kubanga bo ye blueprint yaabwe kati mukwateko abamwetolodde. Simanyani gwe baddako okusiba. Drone zeetala. Kana kaseera katiisa. Ne tuyina choice, tuyina ekyokusalawo. Kana kaseera tukatunulire nga tuyinidde ku ludda ki? Olw'okutya oba olw'essuubi. Kuba bwe oyimirira ku ludda olw'okutya olaba buzibu bokka na bulabe bokka. Ne bw'osalawo okukana akaseera okalabira ku ludda olw'essuubi olaba omukisa, olaba opportunity, olaba we tumukubira engwalo, olaba we tumutendulira. So nze mbasaba tutunulire opportunity, tutunulire omukisa gwe tuyina. Eky'omukisa omulungi tumanyi ki kye tulwanirira. Bwe tuyimba bulijjo nti olutalo nga luwedde tuliyambala engule gye twawogerako si yakwambala ku mutwe kugenda ng'emasamasa. Engule gye twogerako yeeno ye Uganda empya gye tugenda okuzimba. Engule eyo bweba obuyinza n'omukisa gwe tugenda okubanga tufunye, omukisa gwe tusaba bannayuganda yonna gye twetoloola gwenkakasa nti bagenda gutuwa. Omukisa ogwo bwe bagutuwa tubalage Uganda empya bwefaanana. Abantu bamanye nti bagenda okulonda tagenze kulonda James Mubiru nedda. Tagenze kulonda Nubianli nedda. Tagenze kulonda Mwanga Kivumbi oba Malende nedda. Agenze kulonda Uganda empya. Amanye nti ne bwaba nga bamukuba tiyagasi ku lwekyo ajja gguma. Ne baba bamusiba mukomera ku lwekyo kyakkiririzaamu ajja gguma. Ne baba batutemula nga tugamba kino it is something worth fighting for, worth risking for and worth dying for. Era mbakakasa kino ekintu nze ntalayo buli kimu era namwe mbasaba mutale afya kubanga tujja tuukayo. Kamalirize baganda bange nga mbeebaza olw'obuntu bulamu olw'empisa. Mubadde mulaba nti wiiki 2 eziyise tetufunyeeko kabenje n'akamu okugjako emmotoka ya poliisi, emmotoka za poliisi 2 ezajja ne zitomera abantu nga tugenda e Busunju. Tetufunye kabenje konna kubanga mbadde muvuga bulungi nnyo. Mubadde mukuuma layini yammwe wadde emmotoka nnyingi, piki nnyingi, naye mukuuma layini yammwe. Mbasaba mukuume empisa ezo. N'abatulugunya baswala bishuwa tebatwagala bandyagadde otutulugunya naye banoonya ensonga ekyababuze temubawa nsonga. Kamera kesigale nge batunuddemu bo banyige bunyizi bagambe kawadde tewali nsonga piga uyo kale. Neffe we need to be clear, we need to be safeguarded before the eyes of the people, before the law and before God. So mbebaza nnyo olw'empisa, mbebaza nnyo olw'obuntu bulamu, mbebaza nnyo olw'okubeera n'ekisa naddala security team yaffe, abaana baffe abatambulira ku boda, mwenna ba foot soldiers, mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Nja kwebaza abo abakuumye abantu nakibagambako nti omuntu gw'olaba ku kkubo oyo muwala akyamuse n'afiriminga ebyo ebintu n'abiteeka ku akaunti ye atupushingira nnyo struggle yaffe. Eyo essimu eringa emmundu mweno fight. Tuli mu lutalo. Loko olutalo lwaffe luli non-violent. Era eyo essimu gy'olaba mweno digital era eyo essimu eringa mmundu. Nabagamba mufube nnyo okukuumagana naye okusingira ddala okuuma abantu abajja okutuwagira. Gavumenti ya Museveni ng'ekozesa Christopher Damulira bagenda mu ghetto tebanoonyayo bali talented nga siwaina lukalala oyo ghetto youth nga nze wano naye tebaagala yaabo baagala babbi baagala baziba misango bajje batuzeeko emisango. Nabagamba temubakkiriza temubawa chance kutulugunya abantu baffe. Njagala bazye basanga ate ffe nga tuli era twabawuninga dda nti omuntu yenna alina ajja okubba essimu ku mulwanyi waffe. Ffe buli muntu yenna gwe tulaba akozesa essimu okupushinga struggle yaffe oyo mulwanyi era essimu tugirabanga emmundu. Era baganda bange omuntu yenna alina abbako omuntu essimu nga tuli mu struggle ne mumulaba mumuyise nga bbye emmundu. Mukifuule kya bulabe nnyo omuntu okujja okuza emisango muffe, okujja okubba muffe. Struggle yaffe teriimu babbi. Number 1 duty ey'abantu bonna ba freedom fighters kubeera disciplined. Kati omuntu ajja n'atukolamu indiscipline mumulage nti si munnaffe bwe mumala mumukwase poliisi bwe mukola ki? Ngamba waggulu njagala okwebaza bonna abatusapotinze. Yes, mumekinga sure obubbi tebutuyingira mu butono si bungi. Temukkiriza babbi tuyingiramu. Era nammwe ababbi abali eyo mbalabula nti bino tulwanirira mmwe ate bino bya ddala. Tulwanyisa omulabe waffe n'abo abeefula abamu ku ffe bakozesa. So temukola ki? Njagala okwebaza abatuwagidde abatuvugiridde mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala. Bali mwezo yankubye akama tetukyetagayo ku ssente. Mulaba batuyise ewala ewantu wetwandivugidde eddakiika 2 ne tuvugirawo essaawa 2 essaawa 3. Ffenno tetugaana nabo kuba neeyo wali abantu ate basinga okwenyigirizibwa. So naye tuyitayo. Kitegeeza nti amafuta tukozesa mangi. Twogera nnyo nze njogera ebigambo bannange kitegeeza ndya n'emmere nnyingi. So baganda bange ekyamazima tukyetaagayo ku buyambi. Temulekerawo tuyambako mugende maaso nga mutuwagira tulwane luno olutalo tumaleko. Twabagamba era tuddamu bagamba nti tetulina kye tufiirwa okuggyako enjegere zituli ku mikono ne ku bigere. Tugendagenda mu maaso nga tulwana tuwangule. Bakakasa nti tugenda kuwangula. Bino gye binagwera buli kimu kijja kuba kiteredde. Era bwe munalaba nga buli kimu tekinateredde nga mumanya tebinaggwa. Mwebale nnyo mwebale eddala mu ngeri enjawulo kanneebaze era recognizing Father Kizito avudde mukono. Mwebale nnyo weebalire eddala.
Ogambye oli emmere nyingi naakutuyemu kokka nsaba okatwale mukama wange
neyanza ssebo nze nonnaku 2 namba. People power! Our power! Omubala.
People power! Our power! Everywhere! NUP! Bobi Wine!
Webale nnyo ekyetano kyo kiweddeyo.
Mpita enzyme wano ku Shalom Television Uganda ne Spamja Uganda. Mwebale nnyo mwenna wetambudde nabo okubatanakidde ku makya okutuuka wano olwaleero.